let's have a look here. They're stretching for the baton, Germany. Spain have dropped it. See, Germany got it all wrong as well. They did manage to rescue it in the end and finish. But have a look at this last change from Thomas to Foster for Jamaica as well. Missed again, and eventually third, probably the fourth time of asking. And that gave Great Britain a metre. They made up on them really there, Jess. And look at Joe Ferguson. But Foster will just have been pleased to get that baton safe in his hand. The dip from Ferguson, watch that on the line as well as he lunges forward. Not quite enough.
Yeah, photo finish indeed, but goodness me, watching those exchanges back, oh, it gets me all jittery. Squeaky bum time indeed, the slow-mo, the fumbling. It's all so dramatic here at the World Relays. Look, falling over as we reach the finish line for Germany, but they did get a time. So, well, it's not disappointing so far, is it? The rain, we've got thrills, we've got spills, we've got everything all over the place.
That was Chidera Onua of Germany who went crashing to the turf. Thankfully, after the finish line, I hope he's okay. He got up and walked away fine from that one as the Australians go through some final preparations. And of course, as well, we're talking about the woman-to-man changeover because that is the unknown of this. That's, you know, we're talking to some teams about the technical changes they have to make there. They say that the shout of hand or whatever teams use is going to be a little bit later. The check marks will be slightly different because the athlete is coming in slower than a male athlete would be used to. But of course, the male athletes and the female athletes may not have run together that much either because there are a lot of change teams here. So all of these changeovers actually are going to be, you know, a bit dicey at times. That's the nature of it. But China are absolutely thrilled with that look.
Aren't they just? And so they should be. But with the changeover, it's also between the man and the woman, it's the height difference also. So the hand will be a lot lower or higher compared to if you're doing woman to woman, man to man. So that's why we're looking at that. And that's why we're seeing how it works here at the global debut of the 4x1 mixed. We've got one more heat coming up. Heat 3 of 3 in the mixed 4x1 meters relay. And we have got 4 teams in this next heat. And that is confirmation on your screen that Great Britain are through to tomorrow's final in a time of 41.05.
So Jamaica and Great Britain confirmed as those top 2. We still don't have the official results, by the way, from the first heat, which is making obviously the 2 time qualifier positions a little bit difficult to give information on at the moment. So those who finished outside the top 2 in that first race, waiting to see if their times are fast enough, as are the likes of China, who are waiting to see if their time will get them through 41.30. Spain, of course, didn't get round. Germany, as we said, did get round. So managing to just about keep alive their hopes of making the final.
Beautiful shots here of the Tianyi Stadium in Guangzhou. The Canton Tower in the background. We are lit up and we are ready to go for heat 3 of 3 for the mixed 4x100 meter relay. And this is how we line up on the outside. Lane 8, Australia. We have Dodds leading us off. Handing over to Carla Bull, then on to Connor Bond and Josiah John. There they are, looking pretty serious. Ready for this. Lane 7, we have got the Netherlands. Van den Wildenberg will lead them out, followed by Achterberg, Spearing, and O'Mala. They haven't got the most athletes that we'd expect, the Netherlands team here, but still, this mixed 4x1, we're wanting to show what they're made of. Lane 6, Canada, led out by Gabrielle Cole. All of the starters here are actually really young. Everyone is under 25. Jacqueline Madogo, the most experienced runner, followed by Asamoto and Ad GB. And then finally, lane 5, Denea for Belgium leads them out, followed by Van Lent, who will hand over to Torfs, and then Vermeulen with the anchor leg. Nigeria aren't here with us, so it's a 4-horse race. So, outside, right of your screen, in the green and gold, lane 8, it is Australia. Lane 7, in the orange and blue, Netherlands. Lane 6, Canada, in the red, led out by Cole. Belgium on the inside with Denea taking the baton first. 23 years old. It's a real chance for the youngsters to come through now. A right changing of the guard at the start of an Olympic cycle. There'll be a lot of athletes really trying to vie for positions, for teams later in the year. some deep inhales and exhales as the rain falls here in Guangzhou. And we get underway for heat 3 of 3 of the mixed 4x100 meters. Wiping the hands there. Slippery work. Baton passing on in the rain. Lane 5, Belgium on the inside. Canada in 6. Oof, I'm out of breath, that's for sure. What a start! What a start!
Brilliant finish. And the first time we've had 3 teams in a line coming down the home straight. We know Canada have got the big names here. We want many of them in this team, but it's a GB taking his chance. They're coming from behind, third at the final baton change, and absolutely storming through there to take it for Canada, 40.90, which is the fastest time we've had confirmed so far.
The other times there, though, a little bit slower, I think. So if from the last heat, whoever had the next best time is probably more likely to be going through to tomorrow's final. We'll wait for confirmation of that, but it's definitely Canada, definitely Australia. And again, another, baton mishap going on. And we're sure to get a replay of that shortly. But I am absolutely loving this mixed 4x1. I mean, what it's really good for is that teams, potentially smaller nations, who don't have 4 exceptional 100-meter runners, either male or female, who can't field a brilliant team, this gives them the opportunity. They've got 2x2. Right, first exchange here. Australia, lovely, clean, exceptional on the outside lane there. Go, she shouts. And go they did. And here we go, second exchange. Just look for the Netherlands here in orange. Grimacing on the face, just can't get there, just can't reach it. And it really slows it down. But Australia on the right of your screen, powering down towards the final exchange. And here we go. This was the final exchange. Belgium pretty clean there. Canada a little bit sticky. But again, we're at the start of the season. Australia, left-hand side looking cool and collected. Beautiful shot here as the 3 men storm down the home straight. But Canada absolutely storm it. A GB, show us what he's made of. Arms pumping as he crosses the line with ease.
Brilliant race, and that fumble by the Netherlands on that second to third leg from Achterberg to Spearing is actually going to cost them, because that means their time won't be fast enough to take them through to the final, as you say, Jess. China at the moment, pending on results of that first heat that we don't have, China are in one of those 2-time qualifier spots at the moment, which will go down well with the locals here in Guangzhou. But Canada confirmed the fastest of the qualifiers for which we have time so far. They were faster than both Jamaica and Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and Australia very happy as well with their 41.15, which takes them through. They've got a full complement of teams here. Australia, it's the first time that they have sent in every single event to a World Relays. And Belgium are just waiting to see if their time is going to be fast enough to take them through. Of course, what they don't know at the minute is that the results from the first heat are still pending. So therefore, the overall correlation that we would normally be able to bring at the end of all 3 heats to confirm who's gone through, at the moment it's not available, but we will, of course, bring that to you as soon as we have it. Welcome if you're just joining us. This is the World Athletics Relays in Guangzhou, day 1 of 2, with myself, Chris Temple, alongside Jess Silver. And now we stay on a mixed theme, but now, Jess, for the first time, we're into World Championship qualifying, because there are automatic places up for grabs in Tokyo in every single race that we will see from now on, as we see actually confirmation of that result from the previous heat, Canada from Australia.
Yeah, the Netherlands will be bitterly disappointed with that, actually. They've got a very good track record in relays, and although they're not fielding the strongest team here across all events, they would have hoped for better than that. But we are on to the 4x4 mix, something that has given us so much drama and excitement over the last couple of years. And we're talking about Tokyo, we're talking about the World Champs, because that is the biggest event of the year. That is what these athletes want to go to. And we might not see the strongest athletes here, but they're going to want to be at the final.
Let's bring you the teams in for this mixed 4x400 meters. A slightly weakened Botswana team with some of their stars pulling out late in the day. But Moninga Tipo will lead them off to Baseli, to Rankwe and Ranti. Remember, we're back to man-woman order in the mixed 4x4. Italy, led off by Lapo Bianciardi. European silver medalist with albeit a different team. Boga, Raimondi and Troiani complete their quartet. Kenya, the 4th placers from the African champions, with their big names. Kevin Kipkorir is one of them. He takes the first leg. Mercy Chebet, David Caparanti and Mercy Okech will be their lineup. They have Mary Mora, the world 800-meter champion, entered here in their team as well. Damar Francis for Jamaica, who were 5th in the mixed final in Paris in the Olympics, to Nisha Berger, to Delano Kennedy and to Kellyanne Beckford. Belgium are very strong here in Guangzhou, and this quartet is no different. Led off by Jonathan Sakur. They were 4th in the Olympic final. They have Imke Vervet, Daniel Sagers and Helena Bonnet. Australia looking to be boosted, I guess, by the team that we've just seen. Their #1 male 400-meter runner, Cooper Sherman, will lead them off. He'll hand on to their top 400-meter runner, female, Ellie Beer, and then Reese Holder and Alana Jukic. And Uganda, it's their only team they've got entered here. Godfrey Chanwego, Moran Benura, Haranadoli on the 3rd leg, and then it will be Lenny Shida to bring them home. So Uganda flying the flag for their nation in this mixed 4x400 meters. We would certainly expect less changeover drama here, but there is still sure to be the kind of drama that we've come to expect from relays. The first of our 3 heats with 2 automatic spots in the World Championships up for grabs. Teams looking to get the job done on day 1. It's a tactical team selection. Do you load it on the first day and get the team, the qualification done, so you can compete tomorrow with just the prize money and a bit of lane seeding for the World Championships up for grabs? Or do you try and spread it out, save some of your best runners? What you don't want to do is leave World Championship qualification for tomorrow. That is not on anybody's agenda. Heat 1 of the mixed 4x400. Off and running then. Would expect Italy, albeit they do have different personnel, to be running strongly here. Botswana, as we mentioned, the late withdrawal of Tobogo and Ndori and Kevin Atshipi from their team weakened it on paper, but certainly they've gone out very hard on the opening leg through Tabang Mongatipa, right on the outside in the sky blue. Also Kenya with Kevin Kip-Korea there through the first 200 meters, who's already taken out the stagger of Lapo Bianchadi. 4x400 meter relays are a 3-bend stagger, so these first changeovers will remain in lanes until they enter the back straight. So Botswana, Kenya possibly just have the advantage. It's going to be very close between those two. In fact, Botswana probably just going to get to the first change. Jamaica have finished strongly in the second half as Botswana started to fade, and Belgium also. So Belgium, Kenya and Botswana as the baton moves into the hand for Belgium of Imke Vervet on the inside there in the white and black. Kenya have Mercy Chebet on the second leg, and Jamaica have made up some ground at that changeover as well with Nisha Berger as they break from the lanes on the back straight. And Belgium and Australia will tussle for that inside line, and Vervet just gets there ahead of the second leg Australian runner Ellie Beer. Botswana just starting to go backwards with Tombang Basele as Kenya move past with Mercy Chebet. Italy in 5, and then Jamaica and Uganda at the moment in the final 2 positions. Botswana went out too hard, it would appear, and others are flooding past them in the home straight here. Uganda are finishing strongly as well as the athletes ready themselves to take over as we move back to a male 3rd leg.
Absolutely, and it is Belgium who have that handover clean, fast, and Australia absolutely on the shoulder there as well. You can really see some of the athletes tiring at the end of that 400 meters as Australia overtake on the outside. You can hear the roars of the crowd here. Beautiful running down the back straight there by Australia. So it's Australia 1, Belgium 2, Kenya 3 at the moment as we come around the bend into the home straight. One more changeover. The athletes will be getting ready for the next one, but Australia making short work of this. Belgium slightly gaining now, though. Just tying up maybe slightly. It's the first time these athletes would have maybe had an international outing this year, and Australia come in first to the final leg.
Well, they're all strung out, and there are only 2 places automatically available in Tokyo. And at the moment, Australia and Belgium fans are starting to look up how much flights cost to Tokyo, because they are away. Kenya, can they possibly bridge the gap with Mercy Okech in 3rd position? She's had to run the first 150 strongly, Okech, but it's Belgium The baton in the hand of Helena Ponnet, who's now just chipping away at that lead of Australia. Held by Alana Jukic, and Kenya are closing as well. 200 metres to go in heat 1 of the mixed 4x4. Only 2 places available in Tokyo. Australia, Belgium, and here come Kenya, sizing up a challenge. But Belgium with Helena Ponnet move into the lead. Can Australia hang on for second? Mercy Okech is not making any further inroads into that second place held by Australia. And book your tickets to Tokyo if you are fans of Belgium or Australia. You're on the plane to the World Championships. Kenya will have to come back tomorrow. What a brilliant first 4x400 metres mixed. And Belgium had the experience. They went strong, and that experience has delivered a great performance. And Australia have delivered an Oceania record in second place.
Outstanding. And as we just had the 4x1 mix, that was a bit more for fun, whereas this is serious, because this does mean they are going to the World Champs. You can see how much it means to the Belgian team here, who are usually exceptional in this discipline. Australians very happy. Look at those records though. Kenya, I mean, we are at the start of the season, so season's best, SB and national records. National record though for Uganda. And Botswana down there with a season's best, but they really did go out too fast, too hard, and they just couldn't maintain that.
Yeah, the front load of the team, Botswana. As you see that national record for Australia confirmed, there is the victorious Belgian Quartet Segers, the newest name of those. The other 3 are seasoned individual and relay performers at major championships. And Belgium, well, they will race tomorrow for $40,000 in first prize, the World Athletics Relays title as well. As we see the changeovers, and you can just see the athletes, they're just sizing up. You might have just seen the Belgium athlete had a little look round there to see what was going on outside. Where will the threats come as they broke from the lanes down the back straight? And these athletes, just that side-on technique there. They've got the 20-meter zone either side of the start-finish line there to take the baton. And at the end, Uganda got themselves in a bad position, actually, on the inside. But Belgium, it was a really well-contested first 2 out front, wasn't it? Belgium and Australia flip-flopping positions. And you can see they're cutting him up almost there. It was the Australian athlete who just came right across. And you know, in relay running, there is a bit of argy-bargy, a few elbows are out. I think that will be okay. I think they'll just about say that the running line was there for Australia, but wouldn't have wanted to cut that off too much more.
No, definitely not. Elbows were out. You can see it does mean a lot to them. They want to get those positions. They want to qualify. They want to get the job done early here, whereas Kenya are going to have to try and come back tomorrow and get that qualifying spot.
We do have, of course, 2 time qualifier spots in the mixed 4x400. In fact, we don't have 2 time qualifier spots, sorry. That's one of our later events. The World Championship qualifying, the main aim for all of our athletes who are here. And just double checking that, because the actual qualification rules may have changed, because there actually was a redraw of these heats very late on this afternoon. Because of Nigeria's withdrawal, there were originally going to be 4 heats, and the numbers all became a bit imbalanced when Nigeria withdrew. And as a result, the heats were all redrawn. So the opportunity for Kenya to qualify may still be there as one of the 2 time qualifiers. They'll have to wait and see as we look at those spectacular sights above the Chaney Stadium here in Guangzhou.
Absolutely beautiful shots here in Guangzhou. The stadium is lit up for some electric competition as we go in to heat 2 of the mixed 4x4 100-meter relay.
Just to confirm, Jess, there are 2 time qualifier spots now actually in this event as well. So the top 2 in each of the 3 heats. So in that case, it was Belgium and Australia, and 2 time qualifiers across the 3 heats. So at the moment, Kenya and Italy would be in those 2 positions. As we see the athletes there on screen, they are those waiting inside for the 3rd of the mixed relays.
Yep, this is the cool room. These athletes will be in the 3rd heat though, because the next heat, they are already lined up on track, ready to go. I can confirm that the rain is almost stopped here in Guangzhou. Got the Sri Lankan team there. Brilliant to see them here. We've got a French, Spanish team behind. Plenty of Chinese fans here in this 60,000 capacity stadium, all with their ponchos on, of course. They're used to a bit of heat, humidity, and rain, shall we say. There's the German. We'll be going in lane 8 of this heat 2 in the 4x400 meter relay. And China again, we're going to be hearing, yeah, if you can hear that, China are in the house. There we're going on the inside in lane 3. Hello to Team China. Yu, Mo, Zheng, and Liu.
I thought you were going to say hello, Mo, there for a minute as you came onto the screen. I love the different colour coordinated. Got to make it look blanket blue, blanket yellow, blanket purple. We've got different coloured ponchos as well dotted around, but the Chinese athletes certainly here. We're waiting to hear if their team will go through in the mixed 4x1 to the World Athletics Relay final. There are large areas of open air seating, as you can see there. If you're on one of the bends, you are out in the elements here, but we're ready for Heat 2.
And on the outside, we have got Brazil in lane 9, set off by Soares Lima. Then we've got Barbosa, Oliveira, and Cassia Ferreira. There they are. Goes man, woman, man, woman. In lane 8, Germany, led out by Manuel Sanders, handing over to Hoven, then Agiakum, and finally Lachner. In lane 7, they are ones to watch, of course, the Olympic champions, Olympic silver medalists in the 4x400 meters. Blockberg will lead them out, followed by Okolo, Robinson, and Irby Jackson. They are going to be wanting to do well here. Look out for them. Lane 7. Lane 6, never discount the Irish. Kelly would lead them out, followed by the brilliant Adeleke, who came 4th at the Olympics. Cillian Green and Maudsley, also 4th in the 4x400 meters at the Olympics. Poland, lane 5. Szwed, Bukovica, Dushinsky, and Shveti Ersatic in the Poland team, lane 5. In lane 4, Petrucciani, followed by Wernley, Gendra, and Farr for the Swiss team. They look serious, they mean business. And on the inside lane, lane 3, listen to that roar. We've got Yu, we're passing on to Mo, followed by Zheng, and finally Liu with the anchor leg. They are happy to be here, feeding off this brilliant crowd. So the favourites are lane 7, United States, the Irish in lane 6, and the Polish in lane 5. It's those middle 3 lanes you're going to want to take a look at. USA there. Blockberger ready to lead them out as they go. On your marks. Mixed 4x400 meter relay, heat 2 of 3 here at the World Relays in Guangzhou, China. Silence asked for here in the stadium as fans got a bit excited. And we are off clearly, and you can see 3 from left. USA have got a good start there in lane 7, being led out by Blockberger, but also Ireland, Cillian Kelly there in lane 6, not doing badly at all. Coming round this first bend, but it is the USA who are already gaining on Germany in lane 8. Very strong bend here from them as they come down into the home straight. They will be passing on to a woman as Germany overtake Brazil here on the outside. Ireland going strong, but it will be USA who pass over in first place as we see the first changeover. Yeah, good transition there for USA. Not bad from Germany either as we see Switzerland come through as well, but USA absolutely storming round this first bend of the second leg. Germans on the outside having a very good run there from Hoven, and the Swiss athlete in lane 5 coming through. The cheers you're going to get for China as the stagger breaks, and we all merge into one lane here. Poland going strong there at the front, taking the lead. Beautiful running there round this bend as we come in to the home straight. It is Poland 1, USA 2, and Ireland, that tall figure of Adeleke, who had an exceptional season last year, is just gaining on the American athletes. Brazil bringing up the rear there, China just in front, but it's Poland followed by Ireland, Adeleke passing over, and USA in third.
Well, you'd have expected the USA to be a little bit further forward here. And it's Poland who head out on the third leg with Kejan Dushinsky, who's got a 6 or 7 meter lead here over the USA. Their third leg runner, Chris Robinson, making his US debut. He's a hurdler. He's been in action in the Grand Slam track before making the journey over here to China. Cillian Green is running well in third place for Ireland as well, who have Charlene Maudsley, almost an expert anchor leg runner these days. And back in fourth place at the moment come Germany with Emil Adjikum. But USA have trimmed a bit out of Poland's lead here. Poland led by 6 or 7 meters. But Robinson has run a good leg. He will hand over for the final leg for the USA to Lina Irby-Jackson on a very experienced runner. Sviti Esetic takes the baton for Poland and Maudsley for Ireland.
And USA absolutely storming it, and listen to the cheers of the crowd as well. Irby-Jackson absolutely flying around that bed, but it is Poland in hot pursuit as well as Ireland. And look at the move as well. You can just see the German athlete absolutely trying to storm past Maudsley from Ireland on the right-hand side. And that is Lankner from Germany. But look at Irby-Jackson. They got silver in Paris. They're wanting to do one better here, set their intention for the season ahead as Irby-Jackson comes tearing around the home straight. But it is an absolute fight for second, third and fourth. Who is going to get the automatic qualifying stop to Tokyo? Maudsley absolutely grinding it through. She wants to go to Tokyo, but it is America who take first place. Ireland come in second and Poland in third, followed by the Germans. Oh, goodness me. Well, we expected USA to win, and win they did. Didn't make it easy for themselves, but Irby-Jackson did make that last leg look like a walk in the park.
A smile from Charlene Maudsley. You can see how the positions outside the top two are evolving on the right-hand side of your screen with that brilliant live graphic there to show you that Poland, despite being outrun in that home straight by Maudsley's finish, have moved into one of the 2 top time qualifier spots now with 1 heat still to come. Well, USA at the halfway stage, Jess, to be honest, we expected them to be a lot closer. Obviously, Poland were front-loaded with Szwed himself, an individual medalist in the indoors, and Natalia Bukowiecka, herself a global medalist as well in the individual 400. So they were front-loaded, even with the revitalised Sviti Esetic, who's had some injury problems in the last couple of years. At the end, the way they ran through the first half, it's taken a very good second half from the Irish runners, Cillian Green and Charlene Maudsley there, to overhaul Poland in the second half of the race. So Poland at the moment and Kenya are the two with 1 heat to come who are in the time qualifier spots. Italy will not make it through today.
I know we're not supposed to have favourites as commentators, but I love watching the Irish run the 400. I really do. They always have exceptional talent in those squads, but the USA team there, job done.
I thought you were going to say that Johnny Blockberger was your favourite name, because he started in the blocks as well. So Johnny Blockberger in the blocks. Just it feels like some sort of, superhero name, doesn't it?
Have you been waiting to say that one there?
It just flew into my mind there as we see the changeovers there, and Adeleke, who, and again, the Irish have got a decision to make here. How much do they use the likes of Adeleke here in the mixed? And they've, Adeleke and Maudsley, their top 2 individual female runners. They put him in on day 1. But Chris Robinson, who's had a great performances over the barriers, second to Dos Santos in the 400 hurdles in Grand Slam track, and then a lot of travel over here from last weekend. A lot of these athletes have been out training in here in Asia, in Hong Kong, for well over a week, 10 days now to acclimatise. Brazil were disappointing in that one, I must say.
They were indeed. They would have hoped to have done better there. It was quite a stacked field with 7 teams taking part in that one. As we look ahead to our final round of the mixed 4x400 meter relay, we have 7 teams coming up, hoping for qualification, as we see Charlene Maudsley take home in quite a relaxed fashion there, as she crosses the line and secures Ireland a qualification spot at Tokyo. I know she was bitterly disappointed with 4th place at Paris last year, but you have to pick yourselves up from these things. And look at that smile there. She's going to Tokyo. World Champs medal, maybe on the cards.
It's hard to know that. It's a great smile from Charlene Maudsley. We've seen it many times. Job done. I didn't think she was moving that freely there from that head-on shot. She's another one who's had some early season injury problems, but she certainly didn't run like she had an injury there. But whether that was just a bit of lactic in the legs in the closing stages, I hope it's not any kind of recurrence of a problem. But USA, with that strong team and that fastest time in the world this year, as I've heard many of our colleagues say, just covering athletics early in May, that world leads outdoors are still pretty early. But the World Championships will have a mixed 4x4 in. Conor Kelly on the ground.
He's had enough.
He ran the first leg. He's had the most recovery time, but the most inexperienced of that quartet. What a great experience for him. Maybe not right this second, but
He'll look back on it as a great experience anyway. Once he's caught his breath down there, his teammates just surrounding him. Yeah, a little shake of the legs there from Maudsley. Oh, water going flying.
Oh, the lactic's burning for Conor Kelly. But the good news is that they will come back and contest the final tomorrow. They can make team changes tomorrow, and now it's all about $40,000 of US prize money. And we should say as well, lane seeding for the World Championships in Tokyo, and what that means is that the better performers here will get better seeding in terms of they'll avoid some of the other strong performing nations in the early rounds and the heats of the World Championship relays. So there is a knock-on advantage as well as the prize money and the qualification. You can actually qualify and give yourself theoretically a potentially smoother path when you get to Tokyo, which is about 3,000 kilometers east from here. And one of the reasons that Japan are quite lightly represented here is because they do have automatic rights to qualify for Tokyo as host nation.
Poland looking pretty disappointed there. Generally pretty strong across the relay disciplines, but wasn't to be for automatic qualification spot. We'll have to wait and see what their time was compared to others, but it's looking pretty strong at the moment, and they are tipped to be one of the fastest out of the ones who don't automatically qualify. So hopefully we will be seeing them in Tokyo.
Yeah, that's why they're hanging around, loitering at trackside. They want to see if any of the teams coming up in this final heat outside the top two will run faster than their 3:12.7. Let's meet the teams then. There are 7 of them lining up here. India on the outside, who again have got a small team here in Guangzhou. They've got this in the men's 4x4, and they'll be led off on the outside by Jay Kumar to Kaleri to Chowdhury, and then to Rupal. It's a pretty inexperienced Ireland team. Canada have Austin Cole on the first leg. Alyssa Marsh, another one of their successful major championship performers. Nathan George and Deanna Proctor make up their quartet. Here are Great Britain and Northern Ireland with Josh Folds on the first leg. He will hand on to one of the European indoor medalists for Great Britain, Emily Newnham. Sam Lunt is a hurdler making his debut for Great Britain at 19 years of age, and Nicole Yergin anchored GB in the Olympics. France are strong here. This is a good French quartet. Gilles Biron will lead them off. Estelle Raffailly, Théo Andon, and Alexa De. South Africa, we're going to be keeping an eye on them throughout this competition. They have Shazy on the opening legs, and Van der Vault, as it's listed on the start list here. She's been known as Hilden Hayes in the early part of the season. There's a couple of Garcias for Spain. They've got David and Samuel, interspersed with Carmen Aviles and Berta Segura on the final leg in this man-woman formation. On the inside, Sri Lanka, who, as I mentioned, this is their only team they've got entered here in Guangzhou. Darshana, Ramanaika, Kumaraga, and Fernando lining up for them. So teams in this third and final heat, if they don't finish in the top two, they're looking for faster than 3:14.42. In fact, correction, they're not. They're looking for faster than Kenya's time of 3:13.41 from the first heat, which would get them into one of the top two qualifying spots. Emily Newnham, I think, is happier than she looks there with the arms folded, the sort of double teapot on. She's ready. It's warm in the arena. It might look damp, and there might be 1 or 2 spots still falling, but it's very pleasant temperatures. We're up in the mid to high 20s here. Humidity is high. But for these athletes, with the rain stopped now, they're really good running conditions, avoiding any problems underfoot. The last of our heats in the mixed 4x400 meters, top 2 automatically reach the World Championships. So away we go. South Africa are well loaded across this event. Great Britain and Northern Ireland, led by Martin Rooney. Great Britain, of course, the only country to take a full complement of relay medals in all 5 events at the Paris Olympics. It was a really successful Paris Games. Pretty even through the outside lane. South Africa have gone off strongly with Tumisang Shazy in the dark green and yellow. There they are in lane 5. On the inside of France, and Gilles Biron in 6. Pretty even through this first 300 meters or so. Josh Folds is running a good second half of the leg for Great Britain. Just coming up onto the shoulder of Austin Cole of Canada. Inside him as Biron of France starts to fade. First change coming up. Great Britain and Northern Ireland and South Africa pretty much handing over together there, just ahead of France, and right on the inside Spain also closed that opening leg pretty well as well. The baton in the hand of Emily Newnham as they run this bend in lanes and will break when they go through the cones at the entrance to the back straight. The stagger unwinding in the favour of South Africa with Shirley Nkubiri, who comes through on the inside of Great Britain and Emily Newnham. For Canada, it's Alyssa Marsh, and Spain with Carmen Aviles. Those are the top four at the moment, with France and India completing the six-runner field at the moment. 2 automatic spots, remember, up for grabs in Tokyo. So Newnham will hand on to Sam Lunt, those final nerves for the 19-year-old debutant as he prepares, and he sees Emily Newnham straighten up for home here, and Newnham finishing strongly here, and will hand the baton over in front for Great Britain ahead of South Africa and Spain.
And Lunt takes that, heads down, arms pumping, as Great Britain are in the lead as we come round this first bend of this third leg. South Africa in 2, Spain in 3, but Spain just overtaking Garcia on the outside of Kokomoa from South Africa, and he's on the hunt for Great Britain. India, France, Canada bringing up the rear there. What happened there? We will find out, but Great Britain just hanging on is Lunt as we come round the bend into the home straight for the final leg passover. Look at South Africa. Look at Kama. Look at him coming through. This is not quite the final, but it feels like it. And we hand over to the final leg with South Africa in the lead, closely followed by Great Britain.
This is going to be a brilliant battle. The Olympic bronze medalist and the World Championship silver medalist, Great Britain and Northern Ireland, with Nicole Yeargin on the final leg. The hurdler, Zane van der Walt, for them, the African champions, South Africa, and Spain at the moment just out of shot in third, the only team still in the hunt, it would appear, for those top 2 automatic spots, although France are desperately trying to bridge the gap back to the top couple of places. Still, as they have been almost all the way round, Yeargin, Van der Walt has run a wider course, almost on the outside of lane 1, those extra few metres, and now Yeargin just ushers her a little bit wider as she runs wider on the lane. Only 2 of these will automatically make Tokyo. Great Britain from South Africa, and Spain with Segura taking South Africa out by every stride, coming down the home straight, but the hurdler's stamina of Van der Walt will see them home. It's Yeargin for Great Britain and South Africa on their way to Tokyo, and Spain will have to wait and see if that time is fast enough as one of the time qualifiers. Wait to see and compare it to that on the right-hand side. It's not going to be fast enough for Spain. They will have to come back tomorrow. But Great Britain and South Africa get the job done.
What a brilliant end to that race. Great Britain, job done. Newman looking a lot happier now. Yeargin, she anchored that beautifully. Thought she was in danger at one point, but no, she stayed calm. She brought it home. South Africa, happy with that as well. A slower heat, though, than we saw in the previous one. Spain, though, aren't necessarily known for their relay running, but very solid there, especially that final leg by Segura. Be gutted to miss out just on the automatic qualification, but they should be pretty happy with that.
That's a really good result for the Great Britain quartet there, led by Nicole Yeargin, had the most experienced athlete on the anchor leg there, and Yeargin stayed calm. She had South Africa pretty much in her rear the whole way around there, but didn't panic. And of course, she used the screen in the arena here. There actually isn't a screen on the home bend here in the arena. There's only one on the first bend, which means the athletes coming around the home turn, they can't use, as athletes often do, that screen as a bit of a wing mirror to see what's happening behind them. But as we see the final, the second changes rather here, onto the second leg. Great performances from Great Britain and Northern Ireland, who of course have used the likes of Lavia Nielsen and Alex Haydock-Wilson, who unfortunately had to pull out of this with injury. Hannah Kelly, these kind of runners, have used them in the mixed before, but they will go a little bit later on in the competition this evening.
But that concludes our 4x400 meters mixed. We're now going to go on to the single sex events, and it is the women's 4x100 meter relay coming up. Here are the slow-mos of those exchanges. Not as high pressured as the 4x1 exchanges, but that was a brilliant acceleration there from South Africa. Van der Walt absolutely thumping the arms as you come down there, but Yeargin not to be phased.
little bit of contact in the home straight. Van der Vault, having run a wide course all the way around, it almost looks like she's trying to run the shortest possible court down the home straight as she came into it there. Obviously, once you're on the straight, how wide you are doesn't particularly matter. But Yergin stayed calm, had relaxation in her face there, and wasn't to be denied on the line. This is actually a little bit before the finish straight there, in fact, which is why we saw Van der Vault trying to make the most use of getting across to the inside. And this is where Van der Vault, you can see her starting to paddle ever so slightly there as the lactate builds, and she'll have just seen Spain, who got within half a metre and then just couldn't make it any further past them.
And you saw Yergin look up to the screen just to check how she was doing in that previous shot, and she knew she had it. Smile on the face of Yergin. A breath out from Van der Vault, smiles, she's done it. Oh, little lick of the lips. South Africa are going to Tokyo.
What were you worried about? I think that lick of the lips says, as we see Josh Fultz and Sam Lunt celebrating. Again, Great Britain are a team with a lot of new names in here, and Guangzhou, as many of the major nations have. USA have got a lot of new names. But there's Nicole Yergin. They are obviously seeing themselves on the screen here in the arena as well. I didn't see if there was a bench there earlier, but look, there is only one bench, and Great Britain have found it. And Spain are celebrating.
Yes.
Just having a look why.
Does that mean they have made it through?
Well, not on our computer in front of us. We'll confirm all of this very shortly with the time qualifiers, but on the computer in front of us, we've got Poland and Kenya as the two time qualifiers through to Tokyo and through to tomorrow's final. So we'll wrap all of that up very shortly, but as you say, Jess, that is the last of the three mixed 4x400 metre heats. We move on now to single-sex races all the way through. We go women's event, men's event, women's event, men's event, and that'll be the 4x100s. Next, as we confirm there, those are the 8 teams who are through to the World Athletics Championships in the mixed 4x4 and to tomorrow's World Athletics Relay Final to contest $40,000 and lane seeding for Tokyo. Poland and Kenya through on time.
Yep. Brilliant job there. You can see that last heat, though, was the slowest. But job done from South Africa. Doesn't matter what your time is, as long as you come in the top 2.
Of course, if you know you're going to be in the top 2, then the time almost becomes irrelevant, doesn't it? You're not chasing that qualifying time. They knew they were, I said they knew they were in the top 2. South Africa did eventually. As we see the Spanish 4x100 meters quartet getting ready. So we're back to fast and furious again, Jess. Not saying that the 4x400 is by any means anything other than fast, because it is. But we are now back to the drama of the 4x1s. We've seen baton disasters so far, thrills and spills. You can do all the drills, you can do all the practice, but the pressure of the live performance out there in the arena with other athletes around you who are trying to beat you always makes it that little bit more difficult. You see athletes coming out with tape across their name, by the way. We saw it quite a lot in Paris, actually. They were coming out of the gate with, it's almost not to hide their identity, but that is the check mark tape that they will put on the track to show them where to take off from. And it's not that they are trying to disguise their name or they've got somebody else's bib on. So 3 heats on the way of this women's 4x1. I can tell you that Great Britain will go in the first of them, Jamaica will go in the second of them, and the USA will go in the third of them in terms of 3 of the big nations.
We're seeing on the screen now some beautiful shots of Guangzhou, largest city in southern China. About 19 million people live here on the Pearl River. And what a sight it is for the World Athletics Relays. Been brilliant so far. I'm absolutely loving it. And we have got one heck of a schedule as we move in to the women's 4x1s.
Oh, we saw earlier on some shots of Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price. I can tell you she is in the Jamaica team for this women's 4x100 meters. They go in the second of the heats, alongside Germany, the Olympic bronze medalists actually as well. So tough second heat for them, but the 6 teams are standing by. The qualifying rules are the same here. There are 2 automatic spots and 2 teams who will go through on time to Tokyo and to tomorrow's final. As you see the live clock on the tower just outside the stadium, that's very helpful. 8 o'clock exactly, local time here. Wherever you're watching around the world, it is the World Athletics Relays. Guangzhou 25, where beautiful sprinting conditions.
Beautiful nails
as
well.
Asher Phillip. Nails of Asher Phillip, and Asher wristband, or a little bracelet there as well. And one of a handful of athletes, Asher Phillip, who actually competed in the very first World Athletics Relays back in 2014. In fact, Great Britain have 3 of their 4 athletes in this field, this one coming up, who competed 11 years ago in the inaugural World Relays. But first of all, from the outside, we meet the team from Belgium, which is, again, pretty strong. Rani Vinke will run the first leg to Rani Roscius, to Leon Torfs and Delphine Nkanza. France go in lane 8. Their big hitters are on the third and fourth leg. They've got Rimliger to Sarah Richard, to Hélène Parisot, and Chloe Gallet, who ran the third and fourth leg for them in the Olympic Games. Here is Great Britain and Northern Ireland, the European champions, the Olympic silver medalists. The only one of the Olympic final quartet to be in this one is Amy Hunt there, who runs the second leg and just simply down the back straight, often runs the third leg. Bianca Williams and Desiree Henry complete the quartet. For Australia, Georgia Harris will lead them out. They have Brie Rizzo, as she's now known, formerly Brie Masters. Since her marriage, now Brie Rizzo, Christy Edwards, and Tubella Philp on the final leg for them. Two of their Olympic quartet lining up there. Côte d'Ivoire, who haven't had a great time of it recently. They were disqualified in Paris and they didn't finish in the World Championships in Budapest. They have Mamoudou Kone, their strongest runner, on the second leg. Down the back. And in 4, we have Chile, who have never qualified for a World Championships in this event. Anais Hernandez, Maria Montt, who is their South American bronze medalist over 100 meters. She also goes on the second leg. And Isidora Jimenez and Antonio Ramirez completes their lineup. 6 teams, 6 strong teams. Teams meaning business here. In heat 1 of 3 in the 4x100 meters for women. 2 automatic places in the World Championships and 2 teams on time across the 3 heats. Belgium on the outside, France in 8, Great Britain and Northern Ireland next to Australia, Côte d'Ivoire and Chile. At home in second position for that automatic spot in Tokyo, and the rest will have to wait and see if they've done enough.
Oh, we like it fiery here in Guangzhou, and that delivered. Women's 4x100 meter heat 1. That is what it means to the Belgian team. They kind of went under the radar for the first part of that heat and absolutely smashed it. They're going to the World Champs. Look at what it means. First race here, job done for Belgium.
Well, there were some eye-catching legs in that, not more so than Amy Hunt of Great Britain down the back straight, who's been in brilliant form. 5th place in the World Indoor Championships, of course, over 60 meters, and eventually she's been getting used to, as I say, often runs the third leg in this due to her proficiency as a 200-meter runner, but Bianca Williams is a decent 200-meter runner as well. So Great Britain deciding to put Hunt on the second leg, and that was paying off. But Belgium, as you say, these athletes, there aren't enough individual places for all of these athletes to go. Some of these athletes don't qualify as individuals, as we see Desiree Henry. Just about managing to find a smile, looking for a replay, I think, of her final. Oh, that's a much better smile, Desiree.
Oh, here we are. And Amy Hunt, never one to miss a photo op there. But the Belgians, yeah, I don't think they quite believe that either. Because, you know, Great Britain, they were the silver medalists in the 4x1. So, but not to be. They did not win it, but they are through safely. Job done. And as we say, it might not be this 4 that run tomorrow in the final here. It might not be that 4 that go to the World Champs. Going to see some replays here. Chile, happy to be here.
Yeah, let's have a look at this second leg down the back here from Amy Hunt, who is picking it up there off Asher Phillip. And Hunt, well, if you measure her certainly against the French athlete outside, Australia ran really well down the back as well. Brie Rizzo ran a brilliant second leg for them too, but the Great Britain handovers were slick on the bend. Belgium's hand there, it was late, but it was efficient enough for Belgium from right on the outside as well, we should say. The outside lane, that's a slick final change for most of the teams there. Desiree Henry, powerful, but look at Nkanza taking that ground out of her coming down the home straight. One going away, Jessica.
Yeah, Nkanza just looking calm, determined, but the French team going to be pretty disappointed there. A bit of a grimace on Gallet's face. They would have hoped for better than that.
Well, they were backloaded, weren't they? 2 of the Olympic quartet, Hélène Parisot and Chloe Gallet on legs 3 and 4, but they just had too much to do in the end in that second half of the race. There's so many things that go into the melting pot here, aren't there? Not just choosing the athletes. Who runs in which order? Who hands to who? Because athletes we some athletes will have handed to another athlete so many times, they've got it absolutely nailed down. Who do you save for the next round? There's so many, the intricacies of relay selection and tactics and preparation is a fascinating extra facet to our sport that we only see in relay events. As Akani Sambini described it yesterday in the press conference, said it's a team sport and an individual sport.
Absolutely. I mean, you're telling me there's a lot that goes into a relay. Commentating on it, there's a heck of a lot that goes into it too, Chris. But there we go. Belgium with the season's best. We are right at the start of the season, as we know. So not too much to take from those things that come up there. But very happy with that, Belgium. They're going to Tokyo. Woohoo! Yes, indeed. And Great Britain will be there too. Hunt, I've loved watching her over the last couple of years. Exceptional. Fifth at the indoors 60 meters earlier. Again, another season's best, so they'll be pretty happy with that. And they're set to do good things at the World Champs later in Tokyo. They came silver at the Olympics last year. They're going to hope to do one better and beat USA at that World Champs come September.
As we said, three of that team, Philip Williams and Henry, they competed in the World Relays in 2014. But there are so many good athletes. You think immediately of Dina Asher-Smith and Daryl Nita, who will come into that team, that they really have good strength in depth. And we saw some of the young up-and-coming female athletes like Mensah and Wedderburn Goodison in the mixed 4x1 as well. So great news for Great Britain. They've got a lot of their products of their UK Futures program here. But talking of futures, here is one who has most of her career behind her at the moment, but the future is still a little bit unknown.
Absolute superstar. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is in the house, everyone. And this Jamaica team is absolutely stacked. We'll get to that in a second, because lane 9, it's China. Listen to that, and that entry. Wow, Chen shooting away the competition, followed by Li, then Liang, passing on to Ji for the final anchor leg. They are loving it. Exceptional reception here in Guangzhou. Poland will go in lane 8. Piotrowska, Niemczyk, Stefanovic, and Simonowskaya is their quartet. Lane 7, it's Spain. Cladera will lead them out, followed by Bestu, Sevilla, and bringing it home is Perez. And here we go then, the Olympic bronze medalists. Germany, Junk would lead them out, followed by Jaworski. In the third leg, Wasoli, and Olympic bronze medalist Haas, bringing them home. And here we are. Tina Clayton leads out this exceptionally strong Jamaica team. You can hear the reception here in China. They love to see it on that second leg. It is the absolute iconic Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, followed by Tia Clayton, and 200-meter world champion Sharika Jackson goes on that anchor leg. Liberia are in lane 4. Morrison, followed by Davies, then Darius, and Smith Barnett will anchor them home. That's how we line up for heat 2 of 3 here of the women's 4x100-meter relay. 6 teams. You want to keep your eyes on lane 5 there of Jamaica, and lane 6 on the outside of them, Germany. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, who absolutely tore away the competition recently at her son's school sports day. Will she do the same here? She means business, that's for sure. Hands must go behind the white line. Baton can be over it. Saying that, were we? Hello, Spain.
That is a great performance from Spain. At least one of their athletes has already run this evening, Bestue. There's a lot to look back on in that heat, Jess. Not least Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce getting the baton. I'm not sure that went particularly well. There were some disasters on the outside. China, the roar in the arena is because they dropped the baton in the last change, and they've just managed to rescue it and go back and finish. It all went wrong on the outside. Poland had a nightmare final change as well. We'll have a look back at that in a minute. So Fraser-Pryce made up the ground on the back straight, but I'll be fascinated to see that change involving her when she received the baton. Good news for Germany, as you can see on the right there, have leapt into one of the 2-time qualifier spots.
Yeah, so it was a faster heat, and there's so much going on in a relay. It's hard to know what change-up goes well. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, not used to coming in second place, is she? She's got plenty of Olympic medals. There we go, smile for the camera. Plenty of world championships to her name. In her late 30s now, she is still on the scene, doing exceptionally well. But Spain, My God, they have had an absolute world-class start here in Guangzhou. They're going to Tokyo. Jamaica, Shericka Jackson. Not quite what we expected from her, maybe in that final home straight. She was injured last year at the Olympics. She didn't make the 200-meter final, and she pulled out of the 100 meters as well. But she is the world champion 200 meters, not looking happy.
I was going to say, I've seen her looking happier, Jess. I've seen Shericka looking happier. Imagine that you're the Clayton twins, by the way, Tina and Tia, and you're in your team is Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and Shericka Jackson. What a team.
I know, and you'd have thought you'd have beat the Spanish team, who are somewhat less known, but relays, anything can happen. And look at them. They snuck onto the radar coming into this. Look at them. They can barely believe it. Absolutely outstanding. I am loving watching this. And look, hands over mouth, crouching down. They're going to Tokyo. They are going to the world champs in a particularly good time as well. And here, let's take a look at some.
Wasn't as bad as I thought, but they were very much alongside each other nearly when Fraser-Pryce got it.
It's because she's so fast, Chris. Germany, not quite as strong as they would have liked in that either. Here we go. This is the final exchange. And look at Spain on the left-hand side. And Poland, absolutely nowhere near it. She's running too fast, Poland there, but Spain, absolutely story. And China, far on the left, they fall. They drop the baton. But here it's all about Perez from Spain. That was exceptional. I can't wait to see her split, because that was fast. A slightly unusual running technique. Their feet almost out in front as she leans backwards, as the powerful figure of Jackson on the right-hand side of the screen doesn't quite do enough. And Germany there, Huss from the Olympic team, not enough this time.
Yeah, I think I might have been slightly deceived in terms of the Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce handle by the angle there from behind. Like they were right next to each other. Obviously, you want to have a straight arm when you are, so you want to have that little bit of distance. You want, what's that, half a meter to a meter's distance between the two. They were pretty much alongside each other, the Jamaican athletes, when they handed over. So they've lost a little bit of time there, which ultimately, when you've lost the actual race by 0.3 of a second, there or thereabouts, those little things can be a difference. The Spain are so happy, by the way, as you can see on there, Jess, because it's a national record.
Look at me. I'm very excited about that for them. Go there. Also, I could be wrong, but I think Cladera, who did the first leg there, was also in the mixed earlier tonight. So she's had a busy evening. Not much time, not much of a turnaround there. Absolutely stoked, aren't they? Oh, my goodness. Guangzhou delivering the goods for Spain. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, she's still smiling. You know, they still qualified. They're still going to the World Champs. She's like, we don't need to stress. We got tomorrow. We got the final.
She will, I'm sure, be back tomorrow in one form or the other to be here. We may see her in the mixed 4x1. With that job done today, qualifying-wise, we may see her in the mixed 4x1. We'll wait and see. I'm sure she'd like to have a go. If this is going to be her final year, she would want to have a go at it. Of course, it's going to be in action next year for the first time as we see the athletes for our final heat here. Heat number 3 of 3. Netherlands are on the outside. Van der Wiel, Van Hoemenstein, Bishops and De Blauw. Pretty strong quartet for the Netherlands, who, as we said, have got a smaller team than usual here. Switzerland, they have Gutschmidt, Bergy, Van Kamp and Leonie Pointe. Canada with Sadie McCreath, Marie-Eloise Leclerc, Catherine Leger and Audrey Leduc. Keep an eye out for them here. Canada, 6th in the Olympic final with 3 of that quartet. In lane 6 are Italy, the European silver medalists with Fontana, Kadari, Siragusa and Pavesi. There are 2 of the World Championship quartet that finished 4th in Budapest there, Kadari and Pavesi. USA, they've got the Davidson Kaiser Chanda on the second leg, the world indoor medalist Michaela Briscoe on the inside, and TT Terry, who has run a leg in each of the last major gold medal winning teams that US have fielded in the Olympics and in the World Championships. And Portugal, who are looking to qualify for World Championships for the first time with Andrade Bazzolo, who's their top individual performer, Gandula, and Iris Silva. So USA again will be big favourites here. Canada should be strong. Italy as well. Probably you would think the battle for second behind the USA should all go well for the USA, which if you weren't with us at the top of the programme, it didn't in the mixed 4x1 when the baton hit the ground. TT Terry often runs the second leg for the USA. She's on the anchor here She ran the second leg of the Olympics and in the World Championships. When you've got the likes of Sha'Carri Richardson and Gabby Thomas in your team, sometimes you don't get the first pick. Other athletes watch on, those who are waiting to see if their time will be fast enough to get them through to Tokyo. Spot. USA were far from fluent, but got the job done over the line. And Canada with Leduc on the charge, pipped the Netherlands on the line.
So much drama. How much drama can we take for one evening? We've still got so much coming up, but Netherlands are looking to be in the next best qualifying spot as the 43.13 time will nab them the final spot for Tokyo. Automatic qualification later this year, the World Champs, and also into the final for tomorrow. So that's Germany and the Netherlands, because that was the final heat of the women's 4x100 meters here in Guangzhou.
And they won't know that yet because that's come up on the screen here. So you at home are seeing that information. The athletes haven't yet seen that on the screen here. So at the moment, Netherlands might have got word from their team around the track there. And I think probably they have, as we see Minka Bischops on the screen. TT Terry. Again, that last baton change, we had a great angle of it from side on, a brilliant camera work right on the edge of that changeover zone, which is giving us some brilliant angles of the changeovers as we, again, try and bring athletics to life here, get you right down in amongst these changes rather than seeing the race from one big wide shot. We're trying to get you right out there to see sometimes the intricacies, which as commentators, we're desperately doing our best to keep our eyes on, but with 5-6 teams and 8 lanes and lots happening across the arena, sometimes every single change you don't quite get the best view of. But TT Terry, they're over the line. And if you ask any team about the ultimate end result, the end result, as you said earlier, Jess, is get to Tokyo. Don't worry about the time. TT says, I'm not too worried about the final change. As we see Michaela Briscoe, who led them off. And again, a proven 60-meter performance. They've got a very good starter on the first leg. So this was the first leg. Briscoe to the debutant Kaiser Chandler on the second leg. Italy were pretty smooth. And, I mean, that is extreme action, isn't it?
Wasn't it? But Terry's face was just so kind of chilled throughout that. Oh, I mean, who knows what's going on inside her mind? You know, it's like that duck analogy with the legs going under the water. But, I mean, they got it done, didn't they? They got it done. Exceptional final fight here for Canada. Leduc, part of that Olympic team as well, bringing home the bacon.
And the fine margins, the fine margins there. Netherlands, one of the changes that we saw just wasn't quite right. Might make a few tenths of a second difference, and that's what they've lost by. They've been beaten by 2/100ths of a second there. They have ultimately gone through, but if it was a medal decisive performance or a qualification performance there, Britt de Preval on the final leg was doing her best. But TT Terry, she was very relaxed facially down the home straight, wasn't she? She's quite the character, is TT Terry. And if anyone could handle some kind of baton chaos at the end, I think TT Terry was probably the one.
Yep, she was 5th at the Olympics in the women's 100-meter final. And she was also part of that exceptional win for the women's 4x100 meter team. So she's got a gold medal. She's maybe after a World Champs one later this year as well.
Yeah, another gold medal will be right on the agenda of TT Terry. We move on to the men's 4x100 meters now. There are 4 heats to come in this one. We have the most number of teams in any of the events we've got going on this evening, as we see the victorious US quartet with that 42.86. And again, that's a pretty experienced quartet. Yes, Chandler's a debutant, but the other 3 are seasoned international performers. So while there are a lot of new names in the USA team, those are not some of them. There's the US again with Kadari and Pavesi, 2 regulars for them at the top level as well. Quite like these sort of celebratory qualifiers, little shots we get there, the old team photos. Here's confirmation then of the women's 4x100 meters, the capital Qs, those who finished in the first 2, and Germany and Netherlands go through to Tokyo and tomorrow's final on time.
Right, we are on to the men's 4x100 meter relays then here in Guangzhou. Lane 9, Poland, led out by Krupa, passing on to Wodvik, Zak and Kopech. There they are. Lane 8, we see Ghana, Ager, Amoa, Safo Antwi and Husseini. Lane 7, we've got France. They were 6th at Paris Olympics. Pablo Matteo will lead them out. Arias, Zeze and Priam will lead them home. and they are going to be battling in this heat against Great Britain. The bronze Olympic medalist, Glaive, to Mitchell Blake, who was part of that final quartet in Paris, Efaloko and Amo Dadze. Having a bit of a dance there on the right of your screen. Loving this split screen work. And then lane 5, Colombia. They've actually got the world leading time in this event so far, led out by Reteria Jimenez, handing over to Palacios Abello, and then Flores to finish. Korea, lane 4, Seo, Nuamadi, Lee, and Ko. So you want to keep your eyes on lanes 7 and 6 here. 7 is France in the blue kit. Great Britain just inside of them, led out by Glaive. They're going to want a nice, easy 4x100 meter here. Both France and Great Britain expected to go through automatically to Tokyo later this year. But what's meant to happen doesn't always happen. As we get ready for our first men's 4x100 meter relay. Heat 1 in Guangzhou. Hot for the British team, and that's how you do it. Season's best for Poland, automatic qualification, 38.43 for them. Ghana in 3rd, they'll be happy with that. Great Britain, woof, job done. Men's 4x100 meter, heat 1.
We went from a Eugene Amo Dad dancing to Eugene Amo Dad easy does it at the end there, because some lovely moves before the start from Eugene Amo Dadzi, who was confident. Korea, 4th place. That's a great run for them, though. They last qualified about 12 years ago for World Champs. France were well positioned coming into the home straight, faded badly. Ghana ran a very good all-round race. But the automatic qualifiers, as you can see, Eugene gets the job done.
Certainly does. He even slowed down there in the last 10 meters or so. Didn't need to put in all the effort. They'll save a bit of that for tomorrow. They'll be happy with that. They looked like absolute class changeovers as well. I can't wait to see the replays. Poland, absolutely stoked with that result, aren't they? Look, and Korea in the background. I mean, they might make it through. They might make it through automatically. We're going to have to wait and see. We've got 4 heats. So, but it is a season's best for Poland. Great Britain through smoothly. Those are the best battered exchanges we've seen so far, I have to say. I can't wait to see the slow-mos of them, but oof, they looked tasty to me, Chris. They really did. Ghana in 3rd, though. Exceptional performance from them. Went under the radar a little bit, but just, you know, clean, easy. Yeah, let's wait and see if they qualify.
Yeah, Great Britain showing no ill effects of the late withdrawal through injury of the world indoor champion Jeremiah Azu, who would have been in this quartet, but again, seasoned performers at major championships. As we look at these changes, this is leg 1 onto 2 on the back straight there. Glaive to Mitchell Blake. Mitchell Blake won our world title with Great Britain back in 2017 at London. You might remember ran a brilliant final leg of that one. Here's Jonah Efaloko coming round the bend for them. And France at this stage, when the stagger unwinds coming into the home straight here, Jess, France were very well positioned, but unfortunately for them, their final leg runner just wasn't able to keep pace. Poland right on the outside finished really strongly.
And I think Zizi from France was just tying up in the last 5 meters there of his leg as well, which meant that didn't give Priam the best entrance into his final leg. But yeah, disappointing for France. Brilliant jubilation for Great Britain and Poland, and Ghana, bit of squeaky bum time as they wait and see if they are through. And Korea, on the far side of your screen, had a really exceptional run, actually, especially that final leg. Look at Great Britain. Time to enjoy it. Time to celebrate. Amo Dadzi dancing all the way to the end.
And we've got a slight soft spot for Colombia, Jess, haven't we? Because when we arrived at the airport, they had come from Bogota to Madrid to Doha to Guangzhou, and we're waiting for their bus, the Colombian 4x100 meter team. So we sort of made friends as much as you can when you don't speak the same language, and it's good to see them have a decent run out there as well, because it's a hell of a journey from Bogota to Guangzhou.
Certainly is. There's confirmation of season's best there for Great Britain and Northern Ireland. And of course we are at the start of the season, so we don't take too much stock in those, but it's good to lock them in. Before this, it was Colombia who had a world lead in this event at 38.48. That has now gone as we go into Heat 2, the men's 4x1.
There are some big names in this heat, let me tell you. Belgium on the outside, first of all, in lane 9. They have Jordan Paco on the first leg. Antoine Snijders, Kobe Flemings, and Simon Verhestaten will go on the anchor for them in 9. European Championship 4th places. 1 place ahead of them in Rome were Germany, who have Kevin Krantz, Owen Anser, Yannick Wolf, and Lucas Anser Pepra. That is pretty much a full-strength team for them. Near enough. What about this Jamaican quartet? Lining up, led off by Rowan Watson, Julian Fort, Johan Blake, the 2011 world champion, and Kashane Thompson, the recent world the Olympic silver medalist over 100 meters there, will run the anchor. Johan Blake, another of those athletes who took part in the very first world relays in 2011. What a team. South Africa, the 1/20 champion, Bayanda Walaza, will lead them off to Dambile, Bradley Kwana, and Akani Simbine, who's been in terrific form and actually beat Kashane Thompson in the Diamond League here in China last weekend. They will go head-to-head on the last leg. Kenya have Boniface Mureza leading them off. The African champions, Ferdinand Omanyala, is on the second leg for them this time around. They have Babu and Odihambo to bring them home. In 4, Thailand, last qualified for the World Championships back in 2011. Puripol Boonson is their #1 individual athlete. He will run the anchor leg. And we will stay on an Asian theme for our final team, which is Chinese Taipei. Good reception here, of course, in the arena. This is their only event, the only team they have lined up. It is Lei, then Chen, then Huang, and Wei. But the build-up for this one, lanes 6 and 7, I cannot wait for Simbine and Kashane Thompson, South Africa and Jamaica. Will they be fighting it out on the home straight? There are 3 legs that have to come together before we get as far as that. One of them is Johan Blake, who will be handing the baton on from leg 3 there to Kashane Thompson on the anchor. This is set to be an absolute thriller. Germany, Kenya, the African champions as well, either side of the big hitters in this one. There is Walaza. 3 of their 4 Olympic silver medal winning team are in this lineup for South Africa. Heat 2 of 4. Jamaica unraveled on the final bend, and what a finish in the end down the home straight by Germany. Their anchor leg runner Lucas Anser Pepra overhauling Kenya's Steve Odihambo as they wait for confirmation on the big screen.
For the photo finish to come through, absolutely gutting there for Jamaica. We didn't even get to see Kashane Thompson match up against Simbine as he's been doing so far in the Diamond League. We'll see a replay of that, but gutting for them. It is the world has not been in their favor recently on when it comes to relays and at the Olympics, but look at the Germans there. They are absolutely off, but yeah.
Never got the back.
No, didn't even get to touch it. Kashane Thompson there looking gutted. He's going to have to go run to get rid of some of the energy he had. He was about to expend. But look at the amount of world lead, season best, and the national records coming up.
What did I say at the start there, Jess? I said I can't wait for Simbine against Thompson, but there are 3 other legs that have got to go right to get that head-to-head. And we didn't get it. Jamaica didn't get it. The South Africans did. And again, 3 of their Olympic silver medal winning team there. The new name is Dambile, who's the one who didn't run in the Olympic silver medal winning performance. But Thompson in the middle of that, never got the baton. Fort and Blake ran their legs well until until they tried to hand the baton on. Let's have a look as we come round to see that Jamaican disaster.
Yeah, well, this is leg 1, and it was all going well for Jamaica to begin with Watson. And here we go. Look towards the middle of your screen. South Africa is on your right in the green, and Jamaica, and look, the hand is, yeah, that's fine from Jamaica. That's absolutely fine. Germany are well on the outside, left-hand side of the screen. Belgium not going so well. But Germany strong there. Fort got his hand on it, and it almost looks like they give up. You see, pink baton, hand out, doesn't go in, floating around for it, can't get it, and it drops, and it's all over. And that's it. And that's where South Africa can take the lead smoothly, calmly. I say smoothly, calmly. That doesn't look like it, does it? But Simbine, never in doubt. Hand there, steady as it goes. in Kawana, passing over. Simbini doing what he does best down that home straight, bringing it home for South Africa. What a force this season.
And again, that's a great example there that we just saw, that the best athletes will find a way. It may not be textbook, but Simbini's experience there, stay calm. He's not looking around, he's not flailing. Nakwana had a couple of goes to get it in there. They were a bit close in the end. But there's that brilliant photo finish that we have with Germany. We've seen it 2 or 3 times now where the team on the charge, Jess, in every one of those photos has got there every single time. The momentum coming down the home straight, and I guess the other athlete will be tightening up, knowing that somebody is coming usually. And Germany showing the reaction. But that was a great example from the South Africans there of dealing with adversity, staying calm, and not doing what Jamaica did, which is see the baton hit the floor. Jamaica had a nightmare in the Bahamas last year. Nearly everything went wrong for them. Some of their teams didn't even qualify for the Olympic Games as a result of it. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and the team got the job done earlier on.
And that is a world-leading time for South Africa, 37.84. But we're going to probably see that fall again as the weekend continues. But it's not all over for Jamaica. They do have a chance of qualifying tomorrow for the Tokyo World Champs, but they don't have a chance of competing in the final here tomorrow. The Belgian team there, not their best run.
It's a good point you make. There will be two places available from each of the sort of the B finals, if you like. I think it's officially called World Championship Qualification Round 2, so everyone gets a second opportunity tomorrow to qualify. They won't get a chance to run in the final.
And here we go then. Heat 3 or 4 of the men's 4x100 meter relay. Denmark in lane 9, led out by Jensen, followed by Musa, Hansen, and Schroed Nielsen. Netherlands, lane 8, Cooling, Adigida for the first leg, followed by Burnett, Moajok, Afrifa. In the orange, lane 8, Netherlands. They're happy with that. Canada laughing and joking. They're like, we didn't need that. We didn't need it. You know, we're good enough as it is.
They very rarely change the team, Canada. And in fact, when they did change the team, they didn't have De Grasse in the World Championships. They didn't make the World Final. In fact, and they actually only were down the field in their heat, actually, in the Olympics, and then came through to win the gold with USA bumbling a change in the final. We're about to see the USA, who've got a strong quartet lined up here for this final event, by the way. China are in there as well, and that is a picture of Xi, who will run the first leg for them. Stand by for that reception. They're in lane 6. We've got a couple of intros to go. The last of the heats of the men's 4x100 meters relay. The last of the automatic qualification spots up for grabs today for Tokyo. 14 teams will qualify in each event across the weekend, plus a couple more from the world rankings later on in the year. Brazil on the outside of the South American silver medalists. Their entire quartet that won that silver medal are here. Rocha Moraes, Dos Santos, Cardoso, and Bardi, the South American champion over 100 meters. In 8 is Italy, who were 4th in Paris in the Olympic Games in the final. 3 of that quartet are here. The one who wasn't in it was Di Sallo, who will lead them on the opening leg to Maluzzo Tapata and their trademark last leg runner, Filippo Tortu. Here is a powerful US quartet. Courtney Lindsay will lead them off. Kenny Benarek, the 2-time world 200-meter silver medalist, will go on the second leg. Then they've got Kyrie King, part of their Olympic squad, and Brandon Hicklin on the last. And in case you hadn't guessed, here's China. Xi Zhenzhe, Zheng Qili, Wang Shenji, and Chen Jiaping. China Olympic finalists. Xi was 4th in the world indoors 60-meter final, the athlete on the first leg for them. In 5 is Botswana, who've never qualified for the World Championships in this event. Motibi Mayana, Lobat Lamang, and Van Wyk. Botswana, of course, the next hosts in Gaborone of the World Relays in 2026. Spain have had a good evening so far. Rueda, Castillo, Afonso, and Sanchez will go for them. Again, a couple of those athletes, Afonso and Sanchez, have already been in action here this evening. And on the inside, we welcome Paraguay. They have Volk, Salazar, Maidana, and on the inside, the South American champion over 200 meters on the final leg there on the right-hand side, Almiron. I like the very casual Paraguayan kit. Paraguay on the inside. I've got it all on here. Fascinated in what happens, though, in the outer 4 lanes here, particularly. USA in 7. It's a really strong quartet. Brandon Hicklin on debut will bring them home. There's Kung Fu Kenny Benarek, who's been running big sub-10-second times in Grand Slam track. sub 20 times as well. He's been in fantastic form. Courtney Lindsay to lead them off. They've got Arian Knighton in their squad here as well, if they need to use it. Brazil on the outside, Italy, USA, China, Botswana, Spain, and Paraguay.
Absolutely electric here for that one. The crowd loved it. They were cheering home China into third place. My goodness, the crowd love it. United States, they were some of the best changes I've seen from the 4x100 meter men's team for some time.
The good news is that I think that is going to be enough for China. So you wait for the Raw when that is confirmed here. Netherlands and China at the moment unofficially look like the two who are going to go through on time to the final and to the World Champs.
That will absolutely lift the roof off here, if there was a roof, actually, because we are, of course, open air here in a somewhat muggy but wonderful Guangzhou. Look at that, United States, job done. Unlike it was in the Olympic final, where they had a messy time of it, shall we say. Italy second, very nice from them, and China in third. Let's wait and see if that definitely is enough.
I'll be interested to see that final change for the USA as well, because Brandon Hicklin was really having to put the brakes on to make sure that pattern change happened inside the changeover zone. We'll see that through in a minute, but Lindsay got off to a great start. He'd taken meters out of Italy on the first leg. First change from Lindsay to Bednarek, actually. It wasn't quite perfect, but he did enough. A slight miss with the first attempt, but Bednarek down the back straight on the outside. Now have a look at this one. Hicklin went earlier, he's got the brakes on there already. He's got the baton now, and he's okay, I think. He's well inside that yellow line there. The baton has to stay in the zone until the outgoing athlete is the only one with his hand on it. Hicklin, but the roar for China as they came down the home straight. But Tortu was not to be affected. The one thing Tortu will have known is that China were coming, judging on the noise.
China are coming. Goodness me, weren't they just? But Tortu, leaning for the line, experience there, was in the Olympic squad for Italy as well. But all about the USA who got that done, and China look to the screen to see if they've done enough.
So we'll confirm all those qualifiers for you very shortly indeed. That is the men's 4x100 meters round one done. So just to confirm, there's lots going on here, making sure you've got the whole story behind everything. There is a second chance for all of these teams to qualify tomorrow. 2 more places available in round 2 of world qualifying. All the teams that have qualified today, they go straight into the final tomorrow to try and win the title, to win $40,000 and to get themselves a better lane seeding for the World Championships in Tokyo in the end of, or the middle of September. So that is what these athletes are all contesting for. So every team will run twice in a competitive environment. There are no sort of, B finals or consolation prizes here. Everyone gets at least 2 runs in a competitive race.
And it is also winning here. It's not just about the Tokyo World Champs, but it's, bragging rights. It's to see where these athletes and these teams are at the start of the season. It's at the start of a new Olympic cycle, having had the Paris Olympics last summer, as we look towards some major competitions, the first of which is the Tokyo World Championships this September. Then next year, we have the World Ultimate Championships taking place in Budapest. And here we go. Let's look at the qualifying.
These are actually the leg split times here. Kenny Bednarek down the back straight, 8.91. Of course, it's running a shorter leg and he's in motion. In fact, he's running sometimes a longer leg down the back straight. But either way, as you can see there, the athlete's already in motion. Kenny Bednarek at 8.91. That will show you the kind of form he's in. Okay, we move to the women's 4x400 meters. Australia on the outside of this one. They have Gemma Pollard on the first leg. Haven't qualified since 1999. Carla Bull, Amelia Rowe, and Laura McShane are looking to change that one. For France, who are 5th in the final in Paris, one of that quartet, Louise Maraval, is on the final leg. They'll be led off by Fonny Peltier. US have some debutants in this particular lineup. Maya Singletary will lead them off. Karima Davis, Paris Peoples, making her international debut. And Bailey Lear, who was part of their World Indoor gold medal winning team here in China, in Nanjing, a couple of months ago. Norway Josephine Eriksson. Their star name is Henrietta Jaeger on the final leg, the world indoor bronze medalist, over 400 meters at the back of that line there. They've only qualified twice in their history. Canada are strong. They were third in this last year. Jasnet Nijar will hand on to Zoe Shearer, Lauren Gale, and Madeline Price for Canada, looking to improve on that bronze medal here last time. Zambia have never qualified in a relay to the World Championships. Nidi Mingalishi, Rodan Jobvu, Christabel Kunda, and Abigail Sipiso lead the Zambian hopes of changing that record. And here are China. Kong Yingying, Li Fengdan, Huang Xiao, and Lian Ji will carry the Chinese hopes from lane 3. So USA, it's a pretty unfamiliar 4x400 meters team for the Olympic champions, the defending champions, the world indoor champions. So you get a little bit of rain starting to fall now here. It absolutely pelted down in a couple of hours before the program started. It's been pretty much dry throughout, which has been good for the athletes here who have to stand and watch. Some of them standing and watching for 2.5 minutes or so from the start of the race. Those out in the open air seats dive for the umbrellas. Let me tell you, everyone in Gwangju owns an umbrella, judging by the weather that we've seen in the last few days since we've been here. Heat 1 of the women's 4x4. So again, for the inexperienced athletes, those who haven't had the pressure of representing their nation in a major event before, this is a real good test, and it's a pretty even race through the early stages. Zambia are the ones actually who've gone off very strongly, but the USA looking strong with Maya Singletary. Zambia towards the right of the picture there in lane 4, just coming up on the inside of Canada, and one from the outside, France, with Fanny Peltier as well, moving strongly. Norway looking good too in the white, just on the inside of the USA. Josephine Eriksson bringing them through. But again, it's all about measuring the effort over the full 400 meters. The first bend of this second leg will be running lanes, and they will break from the lanes as they enter the back straight. Australia rallying towards the end. Norway, Zambia have run an absolute flyer on the first leg, and USA a little bit down at this stage as the baton is taken for them by Karima Davis. France on the right of your picture with Diana Iskay taking the baton. Looking at the break at the back straight, Norway in the white and blue, USA moving strongly through the second leg and up into contention. France not quite coming across and shutting the door there as they might have been able to, and letting the US through on the inside. So USA from France from Australia. This one is evenly contested with Canada and Norway also in that lead pack of 5, coming towards the halfway point with only 2 automatic spots in Tokyo available. Kamira Davis for USA. Amalie Yule finishing strongly for Norway as the athletes get themselves organised to take the baton on leg 3. There's a lot of moving around and shuffling there, which caused some chaos for Zambia and for Canada.
But it is Peoples of the USA who takes the baton and extends their lead out the front as the rain absolutely hammers down here in Guangzhou. France in second place at the moment. That is Montoya of France. But look at Canada. Look at Gale overtaking France on the outside. Wonderful leg down the back straight from her, and she is gaining on Peoples of the USA. As we come round the bend, we're coming into the home straight for one more leg of this heat 1 of the women's 4x400 meter relay. Peoples from USA looking calm out front, but Gale of Canada is there in second. France, Montoya hanging on the right hand side. Who's going to pass out? Yes, USA quite comfortably in the lead, but only by a couple of meters. Then it's going to be Canada, then it's going to be France.
USA take the baton. It's Bailey Lear on the final leg for them. The roar is for China, who are at the moment right at the back of the field, one from the back. They are battling in this fight, in this penultimate heat for 6th and 7th place. That's what the roar was for. USA, Canada, and France. Maraval, one of very few athletes who run in spectacles, and it's not ideal conditions, hammering down with rain for Maraval in those glasses with 200 meters to go. But she's now chipping away at Canada's advantage. Henrietta Jaeger, the world indoor bronze medalist, over 400 meters. This is the battle for second, third and fourth, with the USA out front with Bailey Lear. Two of these teams will go to Tokyo. USA looking good at the moment, but it's absolutely anybody's in behind. Canada, France moving into advantage. Here comes Jaeger for Norway, battling all the way to the line. USA will get there, and France hang on. Louise Maraval seeing them all the way to the line under intense pressure, and a huge roar for China as they come home as the penultimate of the finishers, just ahead of Zambia.
They get the job done, don't they, the USA? And France hang on there. But exceptional run from Norway to get a season's best in 3:26.61. We'll have to wait and see if that is good enough to qualify them for Tokyo later this year. USA looking very cash, you know, walk in the park, job done for them. They are the reigning Olympic champions. Canada, not quite happy with that. They were having such a good, look, yeah, shake of the head there. What went wrong for Canada? I'm sure we're going to see some replays.
I don't think they were helped, Jess, by a changeover. I think it was the second to the third leg, possibly, where Zambia were moving around the order. And you can't do that. You just have to stay in position. And I think they impeded Canada. We may see that again. You have to stay in the order from the inside to the out that your athletes are in with 200 meters to go. I think Zambia maybe didn't quite know the rules. There was a bit of movement, and it didn't help Canada, who I think was slightly balked. I'm not saying that was the difference between those positions. Some impressive splits, by the way. Norway with Henrietta Jaeger on the final leg was the only athlete to split sub 50 in that race. She split 49.79. It wasn't quite enough to get them there at the moment. That is only heat 1 of 3, one of those automatic spots, but 3:26.61. The USA, their fastest split was Bailey Lear on the final leg, 50.47. I mentioned Maraval being one of the few athletes to run in spectacles. Montoya, her teammate, does as well. As we see the changeovers coming here, this is the changeover to the final leg as Bailey Lear gets it. Look at the weather conditions out there. This is the worst it's been for our athletes in this heat 1 of the 4x4. But USA and France confirmed as the winners. It was a good final leg by Maraval, who was under real pressure from Jaeger coming down the home straight. Look how wide Jaeger's had to run. But the prize on the prize, Jessica, for a position in Tokyo.
Always eyes on the prize over here, Chris. Tokyo is the big prize in September this year, the World Championships. And look at Jaeger there, really reaching for the line. Almost gets it, but not this time. Will they get a qualification spot? Will they have to try and do it tomorrow? We'll wait and see. France there, they were 5th at the Olympics. Norway not in that Olympic final, so that was really an exceptional run from them. France pretty happy with that. Rain or no rain, they got through. And the USA too. Smooth as you like it for the USA. Job done, going to Tokyo. And look, the Chinese team there on local television. Superstars here in Guangzhou, so they should be. And the umbrellas are up. The ponchos are out. The rain is coming down as we head into heat 2 of the women's 4x4 100-meter relay here in Guangzhou, China. We have got 7 teams coming up in this heat 2 of 3. First 2 will get automatic qualification through to Tokyo World Champs. Really has been an exceptional evening so far. I mean, we've barely come up for breath. There has been action after action as we line up here for our second out of 3 heats. Women's, we can see Great Britain there, Ohorogu. She is no stranger to events like this. Belgium also go 7th at Paris with Belgium. Great Britain are the bronze medalists from the Olympics in Paris. They are the ones to beat, but Belgium will run them tight. They're having a pretty good outing here in Guangzhou so far. They mean business. Followed by Polinari, Bonora, and Mangione. Looking ready, looking excited. Inside of them, lane 7. Brilliant outing for Spain so far. Sevilla will lead them out followed by Sandrine, Fra and Hervas. The Belgians, lane 6, they were 7th at Paris, led out by Van den Broek. Leg 2 is Hansens, then Schumacher and Laus. Now let's see what the bronze medalists are made of. Great Britain with a strong team here, led out by the very experienced Victoria Ahorogu. Hannah Kelly takes leg 2 and Lena Nielsen, followed by her twin sister, Lavia Nielsen, on the final leg. Lavia Nielsen was part of that bronze quartet, as was her Ahorogu. Switzerland, lane 4, Niederberger, Dish, Husler and Yule. And finally, final of the 7 teams taking part of this is in lane 3, Botswana, Kenake, Kambaruka, Morocco and Chikani will anchor Botswana home. It is the second heat of the women's 4x400 meter relay here in Guangzhou, China, for the World Athletics Relays. And the women get down to business. Watch out for Great Britain in lane 5, Belgium in lane 6. There's the Ahorogu. You can see the water, just how much there is on this track. Goodness me. Quiet in the stadium. And we're off clearly in a damp and drizzly Guangzhou. In the middle of your screen now, Ahorogu running rather well in lane 5. We've got Belgium as well. Just in the white top there, gaining both Ahorogu and Belgium, gaining very strong there from Ahorogu, overtaking the Belgians, just showing what her metal is made of. And on the outside, left-hand side of your screen, just going out of shot, Brazil having an exceptional run there in lane 9. Italy holding peace, but it is Spain on the inside of that, who's also going well, but down that back straight, Devassi for Brazil, grimacing. They are going to exchange about the same time as Italy on the inside of it. Spain are the first to exchange. Then Belgium also. Great Britain, not the best leg there. They're not out in the lead as we might expect. Botswana, the last there. Spain just throwing the hair away from her. It is Santandrian for Spain who leads us as we break the stagger. We see where they're definitely at, and we have got Spain in first place. Santandrian followed by Belgium, Italy. Oh, brilliant run here from Polinari of Italy. Great Britain, Kelly doing bits on the outside, coming round the outside of Italy and Belgium as we calm down into the home straight and we pass over into the third leg. But it is Santandrian of Spain who's going to pass over quickly. But look at Italy. Polinari, brilliant second leg from her as we go into Spain leading third leg.
Daniela Fra has the baton for Spain from Italy, who now have Alessandra Bonora. They have 3 of their Olympic quartet here in this field. Lena Nielsen, the Great Britain team captain, has the baton, is already coming past Belgium, who have Liefde Schumacher on this third leg. In fact, Schumacher responding and not allowing Lena Nielsen past on that back straight. So Spain and Italy, now Great Britain have managed to get themselves up into third position. Then it's Belgium, and then come Brazil. It's their full South America Championship silver quartet that are running for Brazil here in 5th position. But this leading 5 are strung out as we prepare to hand on to the final leg. Spain on the final leg will have their #1 individual runner, Blanca Hervas. Great Britain and Northern Ireland will be handing from twin to twin, Lena to Lavia, and Italy have Alice Mangione on the final leg for the 2 paces in Tokyo.
And brilliant running here from the Spaniards. Mangione off to an absolute flyer, and Lavia Nielsen, experienced relay runner here for Great Britain, coming round the outside of Italy there. Goodness me though, Spain out in front. Brilliant run for Hervas, streaking ahead. Italy holding on to second place. That's Mangione. Nielsen biding her time on the outside in third place. But Spain, that lead is being shrunk up, and it is Italy coming through. Mangione making strides And Nielsen on the outside, just hanging on. They're going to go past Hervas. It's going to be Mangione who's going to take it. Is she got enough? Has Hervas got enough for the tag? Nielsen in third place. It's only the top two that qualify. It's Spain so far. She's hanging on. It's Hervas. They're going to make it. They're going to qualify. It's going to be Italy in second place. And Great Britain in third. Olympic bronze medalists don't automatically qualify for the world champs.
Spain's euphoria and Italy's joy is offset by Great Britain's disappointment. As you say, that is a surprise for them with the quartet that they fielded here. But Spain, all athletes contributing there. We'll get the split times very shortly for those final performances from the athletes. But just when you thought Spain were coming under pressure in the home straight, the response was there. Lavia Nielsen was digging in for Great Britain, but just couldn't chip away at that advantage in the end that they held. Just looking at some of the split times as they come through here. The fast, still very even. Every single Spanish athlete ran a 51 split there, including the athlete from the blocks, Paula Sevilla, who got them off to a great start. A 51-17 split for Mangione. The fastest of the Great Britain athletes was Lena Nielsen. Sorry, the two Nielsens actually were the fastest, 51-37 and 51-39.
Just looking at those times, well, Great Britain, 3:27.47. That is, it's more than 3 seconds off their season's best so far. They're not going to be happy with that. We're going to have to wait and see if that's fast enough to automatically qualify them for the world champs. Swiss team here, shots of, and look at that water that we saw in the first start here.
Well, we can already see actually, Jess, that Great Britain's time at the moment will not go through. They are not in the two fastest times. Norway and Canada hold those spots, so Great Britain will have to come back tomorrow, the Olympic bronze medalists, to try and qualify for Tokyo.
Not what they would have wanted, but here we go. Seeing athletes coming here. This is the second leg.
Look at Polonari boxing for room here, first with Brazil and then with Hannah Kelly of Great Britain. She got clipped actually there by possibly Hannah Kelly from behind, and that's when they come across to break from lanes. Those kind of things can happen, but thankfully no incident as a result of it.
Yep, and this is going into the third leg. And Spain, they just look like they had it under control. And Italy there, brilliant run from Polonari and Bonora. Nielsen, they just didn't quite get going, it felt, the Brits. They'll be disappointed with this, and they're going to have to do it the hard way to qualify for the world champs. Yep, real intent there from the Spaniards as they set up on this final leg. Botswana coming in pole ultimate, and the Swiss team last there to change over. Hervas, brilliant. We thought she was coming under pressure. We thought she might be caught, but she wasn't. She had it all under control. Italy second, Great Britain third. And that is Belgium in fourth there.
There are some athletes doubling up out there. You know, some who are running their second 400 of the night already, having run the mixed earlier on, as well as teams target those places in Tokyo on day one of the first opportunity. You can see Lavia Nielsen's disappointment on her face there. Great Britain have been used to success, as we mentioned there. 5 out of 5 relay medals in Paris. But Spain, there's been some really good performances in Spain this evening. They probably have been the team that have caught the eye most, the ones who are maybe not decorated with major medals in recent championships, but the sum of your parts, the individual parts, the teamwork together. And Spain have had a great first day here in Guangzhou. We still have one more heat of the women's 4x4 to come, and then we are into 4 heats of the men's 4x4.
And here is confirmation of those leg times of that heat 2 or 3 of the 4x400 meter women's relay. Spain, leg 1, yep. And then Italy with Polonari taking a fast leg 2. You can see Great Britain just behind the pace there. But Nielsen, 51.39, got the fastest leg 3. And it was Italy, actually, who took the fastest 4th leg, but it's consistency from Spain there, all going sub 52 seconds each. Very impressive from them.
Time for heat 3 of the women's 4x400 meters for the final 2 automatic spots in Tokyo. The African Championship silver medalists, Kenya, are on the outside, and 2 of their team have already run this evening. Mercy Chebet and Mercy Okech ran in the mixed 4x4, turning it around quickly. What's that? Just over a couple of hours later. South Africa are the same. 2 of their team have already run tonight, including Shirley Nekabui on the opening legs, and Ave van der Volt on the anchor, has already anchored South Africa home once this evening. Ireland, well, they ran Rashida Adeleke and Charlie Maudsley in the mixed event. They don't run in this one. Sophie Becker, Lauren Cadden, Rachel McCann and Phil Healy do. Sophie Becker, part of the European silver medal winning team. Jamaica are strong, the World Championship silver medalists. Jadine Williams, Renisha McGregor, Kellyanne Beckford and Rhonda White. In the Olympics, they didn't finish. They lost the baton on the second leg when obviously one of the medal contenders. Here are Poland with Alicia Wronok-Czepska on the opening leg, the world indoor silver medalist. They took second place here at the World Relays last year in Bahamas. Bartnowska, Palis and Formella complete their lineup. And on the inside, there is Germany's #1 400-meter runner. That is Skadi Schier. To Johanna Martin, Mona Meyer and Eileen Demes. They also have a couple of their Olympic relay squad here in Guangzhou. So not everything has gone to script so far. We've seen batons hit the floor. We've seen favourites not qualify. We've seen some of those maybe less fancied come through and put in the performance when it matters. What will Heat 3 serve up in the women's 4x4, where you'd expect Jamaica to be the favourites? So Ireland being led off by Sophie Becker. Jamaica have started extremely slowly with Jadine Williams. I wonder what's going on there. She doesn't look fully fit or fully at it anyway. So we'll just wait and see here if Jamaica are taking this seriously. It doesn't look like they are at the moment. But of course, you do have to field the team if you have entered. So I'm not sure what's happening with Jamaica there, but Jadine Williams is just jogging round and their athletes are waiting on the second leg for her. But it's right on the outside at the moment. Ireland, Sophie Becker, who actually ran the Olympics with a broken foot, she later found out. South Africa just outside them with Shirley Nekabui. Also on the inside, Germany are running strongly with Shia. But this is extremely curious approach from Jamaica. Not sure what's behind it. As the changes are made on the outside. Ireland on the inside of South Africa. Then come Germany and then come Poland. And the second leg Jamaica runner is certainly having a bit more of an effort than Jadine Williams on the first leg. So Renisha McGregor is running a little bit stronger. But as we see the actual battle going on up front between South Africa and Ireland. The baton at the moment with Hannah van Niekerk for South Africa, who is no relation, by the way, to the men's 400-meter world record holder, Wade van Niekerk, who's also on the squad here for South Africa. Ireland with Lauren Cadden on the second leg at the moment. Germany are taking some meters out of those leading pair at the moment with Johanna Martin. Then the battle between Poland and Kenya. It's Mercy Chebet on the second leg for Kenya, running her second leg of the evening as Poland take a real wide course there, coming into the home straight, out into lane 4. But it's South Africa with Germany now moving up into second place ahead of Ireland as South Africa hand the baton on to Precious Malepo in the lead.
Yeah, that was a brilliant run from Martin of Germany to hand over to Maya in a good position. And look at Maya on the hunt right now for Malepo of South Africa. She means business, doesn't she? The German, goodness me. Then look at that intent from Maya of Germany. And in third place, we've got Ireland, McCann, making strides down that back straight as we come in to the corner. Germany still just behind Malepo of South Africa. Has Maya got enough to catch her on this home straight as we're about to hand over into the final leg of the women's 4x400 meter heat 3 of 3 here of the World Athletics Relays? But it is South Africa coming into this final leg. Malepo did a job. Germany second for Maya and South Africa third.
Well, 3 into 2 does not go on this final leg. 2 places up for grabs. A second leg of the night for Zene van der Walt, who has already got South Africa over the line and on the way to Tokyo earlier on in the mixed 4x4. In hot pursuit for Germany, we have Eileen Demes in third leg of the Irish 4x4 team when they have the full complement, included the likes of Maudsley and Adeleke. But now Germany closing on South Africa. Can Phil Healy of Ireland possibly get back to these leading two. Coming into the home straight, will Van der Vault start to feel that leg from earlier on in the evening? She's certainly showing no signs of doing so at the moment. What an impressive night's work from Zane Van der Vault, who brings South Africa home as comfortable winners of Heat 3, and Germany equally as comfortable in second position on the way to Tokyo. And Ireland are going to have to see if that time for them impacts those two times you can see on the right-hand side. It's going to be close. A national record for South Africa, 3:28.01. And in fact, already we can see that time for Ireland is not going to be enough. They will have to come back tomorrow.
Well, South Africa are really putting on a show tonight. 3:28.01, national record. Outstanding athlete and run there from Van der Vault. She should be very happy with that indeed. They are going to Tokyo. They've booked a ticket in the women's 4x400 meters. Germany absolutely chuffed with that as well. They've been putting in some really good performances of late. South Africa on the floor, job done. There we go.
Well, 2 of the 4 have already run tonight. Come back and run a national record.
I mean,
South Africa.
You wouldn't catch me running 400 meters, let alone 2.
Brilliant. I don't actually want to spend too much time reflecting on what Jamaica are up to there. I've got absolutely no idea what Jadine Williams was doing.
No.
I mean, the other 3 ran, I wouldn't say full tilt, but certainly ran harder, but just jog around. What's the point? I just don't understand. There'll be some. They've got a big squad. They haven't just named 4 athletes. They've got a big pool of athletes here they could have chosen from. If Jadine Williams isn't fit, and she will have known that from her preparations and from warm-up, why is she run? Why have they not got somebody else out there? That is one of the big questions of the night, to be honest. But let's reflect on the good performances in difficult conditions from the athletes from South Africa and from Germany and from Ireland, who have a team through. They have the mixed team through. Their women's team, we'll have to wait and see tomorrow whether that is going to be enough. And as you saw from that graphic towards the end of the race earlier on, as we see the battle on the earlier legs there for the positions, good news for the teams from Norway and Canada, who will go through on time for the women's 4x400 meters relay, as we see the athletes handing on for the final legs here. Phil Healy, great relay performer for Ireland, just out of shot, but Zane Van der Vault, brilliant effort from her. What a Saturday night's work on day 1 of the World Athletics relays here in Guangzhou. And Demes loving life for Germany, as you would be when you just secured your spot in Tokyo. Remember, 14 teams will qualify here in Guangzhou over the weekend. There will be 2 more spots available for those highest ranked teams in the world list at the closing of the qualification window a couple of weeks before the World Championships. So some of the teams that don't qualify here may still get in through the world rankings if they are positioned as the best of the rest, if you like, who haven't already qualified. But that won't be clear until the latter part of August, with only 16 places up for grabs in Tokyo, plus the host nation, Japan. South Africa are looking up down in the mixed zone area. As we see confirmation of the overall summary, those are the teams through to Tokyo and through to the final tomorrow night as well. Norway and Canada confirmed as those going through on time.
And the biggest surprise here is no Great Britain in that team. Bit of a shock, bit of a disappointment for sure.
And Jamaica, of course. You'd have had them, Great Britain and Jamaica, you would have had on that list of 8. So Great Britain just didn't run fast enough, and Jamaica, we're not sure what happened there.
Who knows what happened there? But we now move on to the men's 4x400 meters relay. This is heat 1 of 4. And we will see 6 teams partake in this one, as we see some glorious shots there of Tianyi Stadium here in Guangzhou, China. Round 1, top 2 will automatically qualify for Tokyo later this year, and of course for the final tomorrow, for some glory, some silverware, and some money. And we have got China in this heat. They'll be running in lane 9. We'll hear the roars for them in a second. See the fans in the stadium with their phones ready. And here we go then. Men's 4x400 meter, heat 1. China! Liang leading them out, lane 9, followed by Li, Zhang, and Fu. Brilliant reaction from the crowd here. Who knows what inspiration is doing for children like him. And then we've got South Africa, the favourites here, 5th at Paris, very strong. Mthimkhulu, Ocon, Pillay and Nene. Lane 7, Spain, with the night they're having, they're ones to watch. Pozo, Arenas, Gujaro and Erta. There they are. Vamos indeed. Germany, lane 6. They're having a great night so far as well. Lit out by Clyde. Then Rumpf from the second leg. Krapp and Damerman. Jamaica, let's see if their men can fare better than the women. Brown will lead them out. Barnes, McDonald and Roden will bring them home. They were not in the final in Paris. Can they right that wrong and make the world champs here? Lane 4, Australia, inside lane. We've got Nikita Jr., Reynolds, Van Rinteng and Thorne. They're looking chilled. They're looking happy. Here we go then. 6 teams. Heat 1 of the men's 4x400 meter relay. We've had some thrills and spills so far. Let's see what this one delivers us, eh? Top teams to look out for here are South Africa towards the outside in lane 8 and Jamaica here, lane 5. Brown will lead out the Jamaicans. Let's see if he goes at more than just a jog. And away clearly, arms shooting behind them. Strong start on the left-hand side of your screen there for South Africa. Very strong indeed. Mthimkhulu doing a job there on the Chinese athlete on the outside, almost overtaken them so far. He'll be passing on to Ocon at the end of this 400 meters. Also going strongly is Jamaica. And that roar you hear is as the Chinese athletes, Liang, rounds this corner, grimaces and hangs on to a bit of the lead as we're still absolutely fair play to Liang there, grimacing his way through it, not letting South Africa pass, but it will be South Africa that hand over in the lead here. At Jamaica would be a similar time as well. For Jamaica, it is Barnes who takes on the baton, and for South Africa, we've got Ocon, who now passes Lee from China. And where those cones signify that they can all go into one lane on the inside. So we can really see how they're spanning out now. And it's South Africa, Ocon, leading the pack. Spain, who is having a brilliant evening so far. That is Arenas as Spain. We've got China in 3rd place, Jamaica in 4th. You can hear that roar to come into the home straight. China, Zhang from Lee from there, holding on as Jamaica. Barnes tears past the others, comes into 2nd place as we go into leg 3.
Don't often see a right-handed changeover as we saw from Jamaica there as they take the baton in leg 3 with Rasheen McDonald, but South Africa out front with Live Pillay, part of the team that were just edged out by Botswana on the line in this event last year in Bahamas. Pillay using his nous, running a wide course down the back straight on the outer edge of lane 1 to make Jamaica on their shoulder run that little bit further. Spain at the moment in 3rd position with Guijarro, who are just chipping away at Jamaica, just out of picture. There we go, and China still in the hunt as well in 4th position at the moment on the 3rd leg. But it's Live Pillay who will hand on to Zakite Nene for the final leg. China are finishing strongly here as Jamaica starts to fade. Guijarro for Spain. So South Africa 1, Spain 2, and listen to the roar as China move up into 3rd.
And what a final leg we've got on our hands here. Nene from South Africa tearing round. China putting in an exceptional performance in 3rd place there. Fu has got the baton for them. In 2nd place, we have got Erta of Spain storming down the back straight. Got South Africa, Nene in his sights, but Fu of China hanging on to 3rd place. Jamaica sit back in 4th. Roden, who'd have thought it? China, Fu from China overtaking Spain. Erta doesn't know what's happening. The sound in this stadium is deafening. The arms of Fu start pumping. It is South Africa that would take the 1st qualifying spot with Nene, but my goodness, China, are they going to do it? Can he hang on? Can Fu hang on? He's going to take it. Oh my days, you can see what it means. They are going to Tokyo, and that is a national record. 3:01.87, men's 4x400 meter relay. Heat 1 did not disappoint.
It would have felt somewhat cruel to leave the China Stadium this evening in Guangzhou without some sort of reward for the enthusiastic Chinese support that we've had here. But what a performance from that crew to get China their first place at the World Athletics Relays in second position. South Africa splitting 3 minutes dead, the fastest time that anyone's posted in the world this year. And to be true, they weren't particularly challenged. They were the strongest quartet and they saw the job home. Jamaica disappointed, and Spain, you can see there one of their earlier runners. That's the final leg runner, Erta, who was working hard. But what a performance from China, the national record holders. And they are on their way to Tokyo. And you said about the roof coming off earlier on. Lou looks particularly unfazed on the right there, Jess.
Fu, my goodness. I mean, he had an absolute stormer of that final leg. He clung on. Yeah, the roof is well and truly off. Oh, that was absolutely brilliant. South Africa did a solid job. Do what they came here to do. And here we go. Let's look at these changes. This is the first handover. And look, China are right in amongst it there. Basically, South Africa just have the edge. But China did a very good first 400 meters.
Yeah, Jamaica on the inside. It's not particularly outstanding split. Zandri and Barnes on the second leg for them with 45.09, their most impressive split. But South Africa here on the second leg with Ocon, a 44.69 for Ocon. That's an outstanding second leg for South Africa, which put them in a great position. Really impressive from Ocon. They closed with a 43.97 split from Nene, by the way, who's about to take the baton here from Lyth Pillay. So a sub-44 split from Nene is an absolutely sensational run. And Fu on the final leg for China, 44.65 as well, to get them past Spain, past Erta here. Look at Fu. He still looks pretty unfazed until the last few steps, to be honest with you. Oh, we're hearing from Fu, from the Chinese team in the stadium, which is why there's another roar. But Nene, I mean, he's just split sub-44. Look at his face. Look at him.
Oh, walking the park. He's like, oh, I'm chilled. Hands going to look at Fu. I thought Erta was going to do it. I thought Erta was going to have him, but it did not. Fu, eyes closed, grimace on, praying to the gods up there, the relay baton gods, as he crosses the line. He hears the roar of the crowd, and he knows that he is going, hopefully himself, after that performance, to the World Athletics Championships. Oh, look at that elation. Can you feel it? Oh, look at it. Look at the scenes here in Guangzhou. National record. This is what it means. Athletics is massively on the rise here in China. And with performances like that, you can see why. Love it.
So the bar has been set for the teams to come. They've got to run faster than 3:03.54 of Jamaica. So Jamaica, who have not had a good time of it in the World Relays, certainly some of the men's events in the past, didn't qualify for the Olympics. And they have got some work on here to qualify, coming home in fourth position. As we see the South Africans, the new world leaders, with that 3 minutes flat. And again, for them, a couple of experienced members of their team getting that job done. Mitim Kulu and Pillay and Nene. A strong team for them, coming over the line in first position as we move on to the second of 4 heats, chasing those next 2 positions. And on the outside will be Ireland, who have 3 of the team that competed at the European Championships last year. Chris O'Donnell will lead them off. The other members of that team, Callum Baird and Jack Raftery, will run legs 2 and 4. And Marcus Lawler slots into the team there as well. Ireland out on the outside in lane 9. Botswana, well, they don't have Ndori and they don't have Kebenat Shipi, who pulled out late for personal reasons, but they do have their next best, the African Championship silver medalist, Lee Epi, on the first leg, and the extremely experienced Leongo Scotch takes anchor duties for Botswana. Netherlands, they have Marvin Bonavacia, the European bronze medalist over 400 meters on their first leg, to Nick Smit, who's a hurdler, to Isaiah Kleinekink and Jonas Pfeiffers on the final leg for them. They didn't qualify for the Olympics, Netherlands. Brazil are the South American champions. They make one change to that team that won that title. Thiago Limes da Silva and Lucas Carvalho, their regular first couple of runners. Zambia I mentioned it earlier, but I'll mention it again. They've never qualified a team for the World Championship relays. Patrick Nyambe to Lachembe, to Kakene, and to Malenga. And then the inside, Portugal, European Championship finalists. Tavares on the first leg. Their number one individual runner is João Coelho there, who will run the third leg. And Ricardo dos Santos, the UK-based Portuguese athlete, in fourth position, who saw his partner Bianca Williams run earlier on in the relay for Great Britain. This is the second of the 4 heats, the men's 4x400 meters. The Chinese team produced the roar from the fans inside the China Stadium here in Guangzhou. Who will it be with the shouts of joy in this second heat? Well, this is pretty open, this one. If Botswana had been at full tilt, you would have had them as clear favourites, and they are strong on the first leg with Lee Eppie, who's absolutely gone motoring out down the back straight and already passing Chris O'Donnell of Ireland on the inside, as we see the Netherlands there with Bonavacia holding the stagger with Lucas Carvalho of, with Thiago Lemes de Silva of Brazil. But that's the battle out front in the outside lanes at the moment. Botswana, Netherlands moving strongly, pretty even as you can see though, through the inside lanes. Also Portugal with Erickson Tavares have run well through the first 300 meters. But Eppie, who has been an impressive performer for Botswana, almost the next generation of stars for them, just starting to tie up as he comes into that change and hands the baton on for the second leg to Justus Oratile. Ireland now have the baton with Callum Baird on the outside. For Brazil, in lane 5, we have Lucas Carvalho now. Inside them, Zambia and Portugal. It's all got pretty tight up front all of a sudden. Now, you wouldn't say any team was out of this as we come through towards the halfway point of leg number 2. Probably the most open first leg and a half we've had so far. Botswana from Brazil and Zambia. Then Portugal, Netherlands and Ireland at the back of the field of 6 at the moment. Botswana have Victor Ntweng waiting on the third leg. Carvalho will hand on to Vinicius Moura. Netherlands looking to finish strongly down the home straight with Nick Smith, who has Isaiah Klein-Ickink on the next leg, but Netherlands starting to fade. It's Botswana, Brazil and Portugal, 1, 2, 3.
And Botswana absolutely smashed that first few meters of this third leg. Ntweng taking it away for Botswana. Second place there, absolutely storming it too. But look, Portugal here, Coelho, which actually means rabbits in Portuguese. Do you know? Are hanging on, trying to hang on to third place there. But it's all about Botswana out in front. Brazil in second with Moura having a good run. Portugal, Coelho, Rabbit coming for it. Absolutely storming it down. This home straight, catching Botswana, I think, as we go into the fourth leg. Outstanding run there for Coelho. They pass over first in this final leg.
Portugal making the most of having their strongest runner there, Coelho. He did the damage to Botswana's lead and got them into the lead for this final leg. So Ricardo dos Santos for Portugal out front with Botswana in pursuit with the very experienced Leongo Scotch. Is there anything that those chasing behind can do? Brazil have the final leg now with Mateus Lima, a very experienced hurdler. Top 4 Brazilian 400 meter on the flat as well. As Netherlands in 4th position at the moment as well with Jonas Pfeifers, but at the front 2 away at the moment. Dos Santos already gritting his teeth with 100 meters left to go. Scott's moving out for the pass. These 2 are away, and if Dos Santos can hold this together, although Brazil are finishing quite strongly, they won't be able to get back to Portugal, and it's Botswana and Portugal who booked their tickets to Tokyo in the World Championships. Brazil were too much to do in the home straight. Netherlands finished well, but couldn't get there. 3:01.24, it's slower than the first heat, so those outside the first 2 have to wait and see. But Portugal, a rare qualification for a World Championship relay. Botswana didn't need their big stars, it turned out. They were good enough to win.
They certainly were. Botswana looked cool as cucumbers there. Brilliant run from Portugal, though, in a national record. They are going to be very happy with that in a time of 3:01.78. Look, Coelho pointing to the sky. They're pumped. They're excited. They deserve that. They had an outstanding run there. Automatically qualifying for the World Champs in Tokyo in September. That's what it's all about. Botswana looking very happy. They got the job done. Scotch there. Yep, happy. they're going through. Season's best too. It is early in the season, as we said before, so we don't take much stock by those, but job done.
44.61 for Scotch on the final leg. Lima, exactly the same time as well for him. And Epi went out in 45.87 out of the blocks as well, which is a notable first leg from him. Shout out to Jonas Pfeifers, who ran a 44.9 on the final leg. Coelho for Portugal on that third leg here, 44.45 on the third leg, which is the fastest of any leg in that race. And I think he, in the end, really made the difference, gave Portugal that springboard for Dos Santos just to make sure that he could see the job through. When Dos Santos gets the baton, the target, of course, win if you can, but the main target is getting the top two. And a good final leg from Dos Santos. He ran 45.62, but Scotch just staying on the shoulder of Portugal, round into the home straight, and then he moved himself. I had a little look at the screen there to check nothing else was coming behind, and then just eased himself out, despite Dos Santos running pretty wide there, forcing Scotch almost into lane 3. And Lima, despite himself splitting 44.61, not able to get back. And Dos Santos there, a smile. He knew the job was done. It was a smile of joy rather than a lactic smile, as it sometimes can be. That was a joyous smile from Dos Santos, particularly when they saw it was a national record as well.
Indeed, and that was heat 2 of 4 of this men's 4x400 meter relay in Guangzhou, China. We've got 2 races left this evening. It has raced by, indeed. You've got Jess Silver here and Chris Temple bringing you all the action from Guangzhou, China of the World Relays. Botswana there, they meant business. They got the job done. They are going to the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo. Portugal, happy lads. Job done. There we go. They're on a plane to Japan. National record. They're going to be very happy with that indeed. Heat 2 of 4, done and dusted. 2 heats left to go. If they don't qualify in these heats, they do have a chance to do it tomorrow as well. But those who automatically go through to the final here of the World Relays. Botswana in a time of a season's best performance, 3:01.23.
Just to say, that is the first time Portugal have ever made the World Championships in the men's 4x4. I was just double checking that in the background while you were talking. What a performance from Portugal. We'll see some of those impressive split times that we just spoke about there. Epi with the best leg on leg 1, 45.87. Look at this brilliant information that we're able to bring you as part of this broadcast, bringing it to life with the individual splits of the runners. The second leg, the fastest there was Oretile, 44.70. Coelho, as you will see in a moment, getting Portugal right back in the mix with that 44.45, the fastest leg of the race by anybody. And then the final leg, 44.61 from Scotch with that well-timed pass on the home straight to get Botswana the second successive title in the men's 4x400 meters at the World Athletics Relays.
Well, here we go. It's evening here in Guangzhou, China, for heat 3 of 4 of the men's 4x400 meter relay. Guangzhou has really put on a show so far, and this next heat is another showstopper. We have got bronze medalists from Paris, Great Britain, going to be in lane 5. We've got Italy in lane 6, who are 7th, and Belgium line up in lane 7, who are 4th at Paris. But here we go. Lane 9, Mexico. This is the only event they're in. They're led off by Mariras, then Campos, Vargas, and Mendoza. They're going to be hoping to do well here, as are Qatar in lane 8. The only event they're also in, led by Samba, Hamida, Osman, and Yahya Ibrahim will lead them home. That's Qatar, lane 8. And in lane 7, Belgium, Iquikel, Van der Benden, Dylan Borlée, and Alexander Dome. 2 very, very experienced runners there in the second half of this men's 4x400 meter for Belgium. They were 4th at Paris. Here we go. Lane 6, Italy, 7th at Paris, led out by Scotti, Assetti, Melli, and Bernati. They mean business here. They're going to want to do well. Great Britain, bronze at Paris. Okoro will lead them out. Toby Harry, second leg. Rio Mitchum, third. And Charles Dobson, who anchored home that bronze medalist team in Paris, will do the same here. Senegal, lane 4, led out by Mendy. We'll pass on to Ndoye, then to Ndaye, and finally Diouf. So you want to look out for Great Britain, almost on the inside there in lane 5. followed by Italy in lane 6 and Belgium in lane 7. Only 2 of those can qualify automatically for the World Champs in Tokyo. There's the Canton Tower. It's a beacon here, an icon of the city of Guangzhou. The stadium goes quiet as we get underway with the men's heat 3 of 4, 4x400 meter relay in Guangzhou, China. And we are away cleanly. There on the right of your screen, one from the right. It is Great Britain away quite well. Italy on the inside of them. Here we go with Scotty leading them out, doing a very good job, making inroads on Belgium, actually, who are not running quite so strongly. But on the outside of your screen, on the left-hand side, you can see Qatar overtaking Mexico. Very strong first leg there from the Qatari athlete. Samba having an absolute stormer as they come down the home straight. We're still in a stagger here until we get to the second leg, about 100 meters in. But Qatar, absolutely sterling first run. Great Britain maybe not quite as far ahead as they thought. But then we have Belgium passing over, and Great Britain have really got some work to do, as Senegal are at the back. But it's Qatar, Belgium, Italy. We won't know exactly where we're at until the line breaks in a second. But Belgium there having a stormer. Van der Bemden absolutely tearing it down. Now we really see where we're at as they come into one lane. Belgium lead us, then Qatar, then Italy, and Great Britain, the bronze medalist, back in 4th. Let's see how this goes now as we come down to the home straight of the second leg of this men's 4x400 meters. And it is Belgium in the lead. And they're going to hand over to a very experienced Borlée. But Qatar actually get there first.
Well, absolute flying second leg there by Bassem Hamida of Qatar. As Ashraf Osman has the battle for them, but look how tight this is. Great Britain have got themselves back on the back of this group as well after a good leg by Toby Harries, who hands on to Rio Mitchum. They've got Charlie Dobson on the final leg. Have Great Britain, the European silver medalist, and Mitchum moving out now. Dylan Borlée, Belgium nearly at full strength. Jonathan Sakor is a regular in their team. He ran in the mixed race to help Belgium qualify a little bit earlier on. But Belgium now with Dylan Borlée moving around on the shoulder of Qatar. Rio Mitchum has got himself past Italy, who sometimes have Scotty on the final leg, but they opted to open up with him in this race, and they're just starting to lose touch with the leading 3, and it's going to be Great Britain and Belgium who are going to hand over side by side here. Alexander Dome against Charlie Dobson on the final leg.
Absolutely sterling stuff going into this final leg. We've got Great Britain, Charles Dobson, who led them to, oh my goodness, look at this. There's some argy-bargy there from the Qatari athlete. As Yahya Ibrahim, they mean business here for this 4x400 meters. The only race they're in. Absolutely neck and neck down the back straight between Belgium, Dome, Yahya Ibrahim of Qatar just fading slightly, and Dobson for Great Britain in second. It is Dome grimacing as it comes round the final bend into the home straight. Dome has it at the moment for Belgium. Dobson in second place for Great Britain. Dobson's going to take it. Is he good enough? Can he hold on? It's going to be so close on the line. Charles Dobson, no! Oh my goodness, it's too close to call. Photo finish. But Qatar in third place there, I think. My goodness, we're going to have to wait and see what happened there. Sterling run. Qatar. Oh, Yahya Ibrahim. What a performance from them. In pain there as he comes over the line. I need to catch my breath. What about that for a 4x400?
Well, the experienced campaigner stayed calm there. Alexander Dome, who was under a bit of pressure in the mix, and Charlie Dobson stayed really calm for Great Britain because he got bustled so much that the Qataris actually hurt himself with the amount of contact on the back straight. I think Yahya Ibrahim on the back straight. Charlie Dobson nearly got forced onto the inside. The door closed on him. He just about managed to stay on the inside despite the pressure from the Qatari. We might see a replay of that contact coming together. But Belgium have been given it by 3/100ths of a second in the end from Great Britain, and the two favourites on paper there. Italy, I think, will be a little bit disappointed there with that run. Scotty and Shetty, two of their, or in fact, 3 of their European Championship silver winning team in that quartet. and Italy could only finish fourth in 3:04.01. And we'll just wait to see in a second if that's going to be enough to qualify them.
This was the first exchange, though, and I mean, from the off, the Qatar athletes were absolutely hammering it. And here we go. This was an exceptional run by Belgium here, storming past Qatar, and then have this handover. Borlée for Belgium, but a really, really brilliant run from Osman there in third leg. And Yahya Ibrahim, here we go. Look, you can see the argy-bargy between these three for first, second, and third. Just trying to push his way through, and he can't make it. And Dobson on the inside, but Dome just strides past. Yahya Ibrahim stays upright, stays running, but oof, that was a bit of tussle, wasn't it?
I think you'd have to say that Yahya Ibrahim caused that. He just came across Charlie Dobson, but Dobson, you can see how calm he stayed there. We couldn't quite see if he had put a foot on the inside. It looked like he hadn't, but either way, I think under that kind of pressure there, I think the officials would look on that as a non-advantage gaining step on the inside if he did. But either way, Doom and Dobson, there was a little bit of individual sort of masculine pride here as to who was going to be the strongest down the home straight here. But Doom having a little look across. Ultimately, they don't really care, I wouldn't imagine. But as you can see there in the end, it was Dome who, when you look across like that and then you win that cozily,
cheeky.
That is a cheeky one from Alexander Dome, isn't it? Who's thankfully battled back from some of his injury problems, but all good-natured by the two. Smiles of qualification, a European domination of that particular heat.
Yes, indeed, and they have both booked their tickets. Great Britain here, the men's 4x4 faring somewhat better. But here we look at the Argentine Dome just catching him, and Qatar trying to go around the outside.
Well, I think Alexander Doom sort of looking across going, what are you doing? This was very early on. This is in the first bend, actually, of that particular leg. And then Ibrahim's going through an invisible gap there as well. He's just got to play it a bit smarter than that. The gap was not there for him to go through. And ultimately, I mean, I hope he's okay. He seems to have got up off the trail. There he is. He's hurt himself. But either way, for Qatar, that time won't be fast enough, by the way. Also won't be fast enough for Italy. As the Belgians, they're just checking the results, I think, down on the track edge. But they don't need to worry. They are safely through. Another Belgian quartet qualifies. So with a couple of heats, one heat still to go here. It's Spain and Brazil who are in the box seat with time at the moment. So Netherlands are not going to be fast enough. Jamaica are not going to qualify in this event. They will have to come back tomorrow. And Italy, another one of those names who you might have expected to be in the shake-up. Standing by for our final event of the evening, and it's been an evening that has gripped those here in Guangzhou, wherever they've come from across the world. And there are two final places at the World Championships up for grabs here automatically in this Heat 4 of 4. 6 teams lining up, starting with India on the outside, who have a small team here in China. Tamirilsan, Saji, KLVC and Kumar are their quartet. Poland, they have Kijewski on the opening leg, Marcin Karolewski, Patrick Zgorzevic, and Mateusz Rzeźniak on the final leg for them. USA, they're the Olympic champions. They don't have that quartet here. They have Javon O'Brien on the opening leg. Lance Lang is one of their debutants. Kennedy Leitner and Elijah Godwin, who was part of the World Indoor gold medal winning team in Nanjing. So already tasting success here in China. Kenya, Kevin Kipkorir on the anchor leg for them, has already run this evening. Their strongest athletes, including Boniface Muresa, who will run the second leg. So they are stacked in 2 and 4. France, they've got a good quartet here as well. Here in China, they've got all 4 of their Olympic final quartet, of which Mohamed Kunta was one. They fell on the final leg in France as the Paris crowd were roaring them on. They fell on the inside under pressure. And Zimbabwe, the African Championship bronze medalists, who are looking to end a 20-year wait for a World Championship qualification in this event, have Mwishi, Lifo, Tafa, and Hova to represent Zimbabwe. The French team are in the house, those who may have already run, those who are going to be running tomorrow. Kenya are here to support their team as well. There is the man with the French responsibility right now, Mohamed Kunta, on the first leg. But USA, an unfamiliar quartet. Godwin, the one there at the back who has the major championship medal. The rest of them looking to prove something. When you've got the depth of talent the USA have, even those who don't have major medals are still pretty handy. The last of our action here in Gwangju on day one. Heat 4, men's 4x4. The starter's pistol sounds for the final time on this Saturday night in Gwangju. Javon O'Brien for the USA out there in lane 7, 2 from the left of your picture. Poland with Kujewski running strongly, but again, pretty even through the first 200 meters or so. USA, and inside them, Kenya with Ekwam. And Poland making up some ground on India, right on the outside as well. So USA will be handing on to the debutant Lance Lang for the second leg, and maybe just have the advantage at the moment. From Kenya, France just starting to fade, Zimbabwe coming through on the inside. But USA coming up on the inside of Poland for this first changeover. USA and Kenya. France finished very strongly actually down the home straight in the end. Kunta ran a great final 100 meters as he hands the baton on to Loic Prévost on the inside in the blue of France. For the USA on the second leg, Lance Lang has moved back into third position now as Boniface Muresa moves Kenya to the front. And look at Zimbabwe charging from the back with Zuze Leford, who has thrown absolutely everything at this first 200 meters. Can he keep it going? He's got an all-action style on his outside. The American athlete Lance Lang is similarly all-action. But there are 4 in the hunt here, coming towards the halfway point. It's been a good leg from Muresa, who's judged it very well. USA started to fade. Zimbabwe filling up with lactic as well. Kenya and France, Zimbabwe, USA, and Poland coming back into it.
And that is Tanega of Kenya who takes the baton on this third leg. France, Som for him just behind. Oh, the gap already, I think Kenya might be taking that a bit further. It's in 4th place. We can see the USA just about hanging on to Zimbabwe. That is Leitner of the USA. Is he going to have him on the right-hand side? Yeah, he's just about to pass Tafa of Zimbabwe as we come round the bend into the home straight before the final leg of this final race here in Gwangju. But it is Kenya who have held on to the lead. Tanega, but France, Som of France comes past to put France into first place as we go into the final leg.
France have the baton out in front. A good leg for them from David Som, and it's Adrien Koulibaly who has the baton for France. Out front, he's got Kevin Kip-Keria in pursuit for Kenya, running his second leg of the evening, having run in the mixed race a little bit earlier on. The USA with Elijah Godwin there in pursuit. That's in 3rd place, and he's got about 7 or 8 meters to find. India have come through strongly up into 4th position, but have surely got too much to do with 200 meters to go. France and Kenya out front. The USA, can they possibly get themselves back in the hunt here? They almost swept everything at the World Relays last time around in Gwangju. They've got to make the final here if they want to do the same. Kenya are fading. USA are closing. They're not going to get there. France are certainly going to get there. They're on their way to Tokyo. And Kenya, Kip-Keria, in the end, held on despite the closing Godwin. And they take the 2nd spot. And USA miss out for now. We'll wait and check their time.
Yeah, outstanding run there from France. Season's best in 3 minutes. 0.3. I think it's South Africa that hold the world lead at the moment from their run earlier. Kenya qualified. They're very, very happy with that. United States set a season best, but it won't be enough for automatic qualification. We'll find out soon if it is fast enough as one of the next fastest times, but we're not sure. If they don't make it through today, they will have another chance tomorrow when they go through to something equivalent almost as the Olympic repechage.
My mistake, in fact, Jess, of course, there aren't time qualifier spots in this. It's just the top 2. So USA will have to come back tomorrow to find out if they're going to make it through. So slightly different rules depending on the event here. The earlier races had time qualifiers in. But it's a great performance from France. Looking at some of their splits. Loic Prévost on the second leg, 44.45. Kip-Keria turning in a 44.87 in his second leg of the evening. David Som ran a 45.2 here, making it up on Kenya in the home straight. There were some really impressive performances, and Elijah Godwin split a 44.45 for the USA on the final leg, but just had too much to do.
He sure did. USA will not be happy with that. They will be going through tomorrow and trying to qualify that way, but they won't be in the final of the 4x400 meters here, and they won't automatically be going to Tokyo, unlike the French team who smashed that. Job done for them.
It was the only title USA didn't win in the Bahamas, the men's 4x4, and they're not going to win it again. Botswana won it there. They won everything else, the USA. But France, the winners of this, with 3 minutes .30, and we'll confirm all of the qualifiers for tomorrow's final and for the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo 2026. Thankfully, the rain that has been blighting us most of the day here in Gwangju held off for all but probably a couple of events, didn't it? I think the women's 4x4 got the worst of it, but it's been a spectacular night in a spectacular stadium. And we've got to do it all again tomorrow, Jess, where a number of other teams will try and book their places in Tokyo, and the World Athletics Relays titles and several $1,000s in prize money will be up for grabs.
It certainly will. We've had 6 events here. We had the world debut of the mixed 4x100 meters. And as the lights will go down here in Guangzhou tonight, what an evening it's been. What a start to the season. And this is what day 2 of the World Athletics Relays looks like. We will have the mixed 4x100 meter relay final at 7:05, followed by round 2 of the mixed 4x4, then the women's 4x4, men's 4x4. Then we move on to the women's 4x1, men's 4x1. Wow, we really are set up for something special tomorrow, aren't we?
Some will go home from the Chaney Stadium celebrating this evening with their job done. Some will have to come back tomorrow, Sunday night here in Gwangju. What an amazing first day we've had. We saw the first time we've ever seen the mixed 4x1. That had thrills and spills. Hope you've enjoyed it. From myself, Chris Temple, and Jess Silver. We'll do it all again tomorrow. From here, goodbye.
All right, so that's the action for today's first day. Guys, remember to subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel so that we can watch tomorrow. A lot of surprises and a lot of disappointments. USA and Jamaica not doing as well. USA dropping the baton in the men's, well, in the mixed 4x1. And Jamaica also not getting the baton around in the 4x1 for men. There was some mix-up between Johan Blake and Julian Fort, so they didn't qualify. Also, Jamaican women finished last in their 4x4 heats. Jamaica finishing last in the 4x4, so a lot of interesting results. Shelly and Fraser Price, Sherika Jackson, and the Clayton twins also lost their race. They finished second in their race, but they will move on to the finals tomorrow. So interesting times ahead. Not so sure what's going on in the Jamaican camp, but join us tomorrow for more coverage of the World Relays 2025.